Number 5, Enoch Cuevas. Number 6, Ty Bates. Number 7, Carter Kettle. Number 8, Raiden DeChesno. Number 9, Tyler Morris. Number 10, Cade Lebrec. Number 11, Gabe Hebert. Number 12, Roy Tawani. Number 15, John Sansom. Number 17, Laren Thiessen. Number 20, Dustin Bomer. Number 21, Mason Lane. Number 22, Maxwell Daw. Number 24, Kieran Sherman. Number 25, Duncan Critch. Number 27, Spencer Jurasek. Number 32, Aaron DeMerchant. Number 33, Braxton Rudensky. Number 34, Dave Rule. Number 44, Justin Jocker. Number 42, Keith Indy. Number 52, Evan Bedard. Number 55, Andrew Grant. Number 56, Lucas Lynch. Number 57, Matthew Green. Number 58, Landon Madigan. Number 60, Brandon Carroll. Number 64, Logan Karenko. Number 65, Carter Remillard. Number 66, Mika Patrick. Number 77, Jeffrey McCracken. Number 82, Matthew Sturgeon. Number 88, Ogu Abisadi. Number 95, Chaz Walker. And number 99, Curtis Noble. Head coach Vince Orion for the provincial Tier 3 provincial finalists, Holy Rosary Raiders from Lloydminster and the rest of the North coaching staff. Now I'd like to introduce you to the South All-Star team. Number 1, Matthew Oslansky. Number 2, Carson Brooks. Number 3, Drew Hirsch. Number 4, Adam Jackson. Number 5, Ethan Picard. Number 6, Francisco Pistonieri. Number 7, Hunter Holtzman. Number 8, Adam Garza. Number 9, Andrew Guerrero Caballero. Number 10, Carson Brosky. Number 11, Ryan Bradmuller. Number 12, Adam Kuczynski. Number 15, Nicholas Doyle. Number 17, Elijah Places. Number 20, Johnson Vanderberg. Number 21, Paul Gerard. Number 22, Carter Church. Number 24, Osiri Odemwingie. Number 25, Sean Thompson. Number 27, Isaac Owusu. Number 28, Faber Obenjui. Number 32, MJ Doyle Marshall. Number 33, Jack Clausen. Number 42, Cale Morgan. Number 44, Logan Wells. Number 45, Dalton Mendai. Number 50, Jackson Steinhauer. Number 52, Sean Penkew. Number 55, Aaron Massico. Number 57, James Powell. Number 58, Jacob Patterson. Number 60, Evan Luderati. Number 62, Xavier Pieper. Number 65, Mitchell Murphy. Number 64, Jacob Blackwater. Number 77, Alexander Obo. Number 80, Nicholas Sirleaf. Number 82, Jackson Shorten. Number 88, Chewy Thomas. Number 92, Mikai St. Louis. Number 95, Casa Medina Abello. Number 99, Kale Strom. Head coach Rob McNabb from the provincial Tier 3 champion Cochrane Cobras and the rest of the South coaching staff. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to the referees for today's game. Our head referee, Duncan Massey. Our umpire, Terry Owen.
For the first time since 2019, it's the Senior Bowl from Emmy Global Field in Lacombe. It's the best high school seniors from the north and the south facing off right now. Connor Toffin with Sturgeon head coach Chad Hill on the call today on this IC Live Procast. Chad, they're playing for a trophy today, but it's the Senior Bowl. It's the first time in a while. What does this game mean for the players?
Oh, it's a chance to represent their school for the last time and provincial bragging rights on the line.
We'll pause for the anthem. The South has the advantage historically over the North at 16-13-1. That one tie coming in 2001. Chad, it's the first time this game has been held at a neutral site.
Yeah, it's nice to have it in a central location here in Alberta. That way, parents, family, friends, fans from all over the province can gather here and celebrate what's going to be a beautiful day of high school football and a celebration of some high school excellence in athletics.
We'll see a lot of athletic players on the field today, but I want to go to just the emotions of this game first. These are the last games for these players today, after some of them long, some of them short high school careers, but most of them memorable. So what are the emotions that a player is going to feel on a day like today?
Yeah, I think it's just really special that it's one final opportunity for players to lace up with some high school teammates and to have that logo and that helmet on representing their high school program and their schools. You know, they're playing for their teammates and their coaches, so it's going to be a special day.
A player from Team South that was missed. It's number 34, Tyler Mylib.
They're reintroducing a player from Team South, and we are just about ready to get going from Emmy Global Field here in Lacombe. So these two teams, they only started practicing together with these final rosters on Friday. There's got to be some challenges there for the coaches and the players alike.
Yeah, anytime there's an all-star meeting, it's not necessarily the deepest systems and X's and O's that's going to come out on top. But the thing with games like this is these rosters are chock full of athletes and fantastic football players. So get the ball into as many different athletes' hands as possible, have some fun, and let the athletes go out there and do what they do best.
So it looks like Team North will receive the ball first. They'll be on the left side in the green and gold. They look like Edmonton Elk jerseys. They do have the double E on their shoulders. It'll be Team South in the red and white. Is the Calgary Stampeder-alike uniforms representing the South. They'll be kicking off first. Team Green out there ready to go.
We got our own Battle of Alberta brewing right now, don't we?
We do. There's a few of them going on in this province right now, I feel like. It's Calgary and Edmonton at every turn right now.
Fun time to be a sports fan.
Bit of wind here today. not too much overall. One of the better days you could possibly ask for these high school players to end their high school careers.
Looks like Critch and Johansson back deep to return for Team North.
Waiting for a couple people to hop on the yardsticks here, so that's our short delay as we get started. First time this game has been played since 2019. Head official today is Duncan Massey.
Looks like an all-star group of officials too.
Kickoff in the 2022 and the 31st annual edition of the Senior Bowl. North takes it out to about the 34-yard line. That's where they'll start their offense.
An all-star group of officials too. Tackle there by
Kickoff
number 44 out of Medicine Hat. That's Logan Wells. Good tackle on Critch. Critch is a dangerous ball carrier here. Look for him to get some touches early on out of the backfield here for Team North.
It'll be Cade Lebrecht starting the game at quarterback for Team North. Lebrecht in the shotgun with 2 backs, 3 receivers to the left.
They got 13 men on the field?
They do. That looked a little weird, so we're going to start the game with a couple flags. Free play for the defense here as Lebrecht takes it out on the sideline. It'll be a first down, but yeah, 2 backs, 5 wide receivers.
I was going to say that's a new formation I wasn't familiar with there. But you know, yesterday I watched a little bit of practice for Team North, and they did have some sets where they were running 2 backs, some other spreads where they're going spread with 5 receivers. They were trying to do both on that first play, trying to get an advantage.
So they'll move it back 5 yards. 10 yards rather. And a tough start there for Team North as they'll be set back on a 1st and 20. This time just 1 receiver to the right. A couple backs again. Kicking out to the right is Carter Kettle. It'll be a handoff up the middle and a big stop early for the Team South defensive line.
Great penetration there by number 92 coming off the edge. That's St. Louis from the George McDougall Mustangs. It looks like Team North is trying to get a bit of a mismatch there with receiver Ty Bates being that trips receiver to the field, going up against a Sam linebacker. So maybe look for Bates here on a deep pattern, getting one-on-one coverage with a linebacker.
3 receivers to the left, now 4 as Kittle kicks out. Lebrecht drops back, flag on the field. Might be a free play here. Does North have a shot, and the pressure brought from the defensive line. It was Dalton Mendive in the area forcing that incompletion. We'll check the call.
On Team North. Looks like an offside call is the original signal.
So the offense for Team North moving the wrong way to open up the game. It'll be a 3rd and 23, and they'll bring out the punt unit.
That was well covered, though, by Team South. There was not a lot of receivers open, forcing Lebrecht to scramble as he was under pressure. And communication is going to be key, Connor. In a game like this, you know, we've already seen an issue with too many men on the field, so players are going to have to be listening to the coaches, and communication will be a key aspect.
Carter Kettle, the wide receiver. He's got hands, but he's got a leg too. Kicks it all the way down to the Team South 41, and a great stop on special teams. Flying down the field was Mason Lane.
Oh, Mason Lane out of Leduc. That's our first highlight reel hit of the day.
A little bit of pushing and shoving in midfield after. This might be an all-star game in a way, but these guys still don't like each other, Chad.
Yeah, this isn't like watching the NFL Pro Bowl. These boys are playing for keeps, like we said. You know, provincial bragging rights, Battle of Alberta here, and chance to represent their schools for the last time.
Ethan Picard in a quarterback to open up the game. For Team South, they'll start the drive on their own 45. Pretty good field position because of the defense. It's a jet sweep out to the left. And just down by midfield, getting taken down was Piscaneri.
Yeah, good shoestring tackle there by Johansson out of Sal, but nice gain of about 9 yards on first with that jet sweep, and kind of like opening up the games, getting the receivers a little bit of action like that, threaten the perimeter, and again, any level of high school football, contain is essential there. So great athletes, like we said, on both sides. Look for a little bit more of that to open up some play action then. If the defense is going to bite down hard on the jet sweep, we could see some vertical patterns going over top later on.
Second and about a half a yard. He'll hand it off again. Straight up the middle is Piscaneri, and he's going to pick up the first down. Just a couple yards on the play, but it'll be enough to move the sticks.
Yeah, good surge from that offensive line as the linebackers for Team North were playing up tight, suspecting an inside run on second and short, but that's just a good execution there by Team South.
So Team South on the north side of the field. Picard takes a snap. Screen play out to the left. Reeling it in and picking up about 5 yards is Nicholas Sirleaf.
Yeah, just a nice little wide receiver screen there for positive yards on first. That's really just like an extension of the running game. Get the ball to a receiver around that line of scrimmage, let him make a play. Good tackle there by Tyler Morris for Team North to keep that first down at a minimum now. 2nd and 5, playbook should be open for Team South.
4D linemen in this set for Team North. They'll fake the handoff as a play action going to the right, and just a little bit mistimed on that play, Chad. Looked like there might have been a little confusion as they couldn't find Chewy Thomas on the right side.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a misdirection bootleg. We saw guard number 62 there with the pull. That's Xavier Buchert out of McCoy Colts there, pulling around, and you know what, I actually thought if he would have given that ball, it looked like a run lane was there, but a bootleg again, just threatening the perimeter there of the defense. You know, we saw Pickard play in the Tier 3 Alberta Bowl, and man, he's an athlete, so getting him out on the edge is a good game plan, I think.
Team South will have to punt it away. It's Crew Hirsch, one of the quarterbacks for Team South. Ball is dropped, and Kettle able to pick it up off the ground, but that's going to throw off the timing of that punt return, and they're brought down within their own 10.
Yeah, that was a bit of a line drive punt, not a lot of hang time on that one, and you know, sometimes those can be a lot harder to field, especially with some breezy conditions. It's not hanging up there, so Kettle struggled with that one a little bit, but look for him to make amends here back on offense. He was one of the most exciting receivers I got to see all year, arguably the best receiver in the province last year.
It's Roy Tanwani in now for Team North. He's a two-time provincial champion, a dynamic quarterback for Harry Ainley, to say the least. He's going to hand it off to open up his first drive, and tackled to the left of the line of scrimmage is Maxwell Daw.
Yeah, Daw tries to take that one off tackle, but the South defense plays that pretty well, and they limit that gain to about a yard. But yeah, Roy Tanwani, just a phenomenal athlete, just as dangerous with his legs as he is with his arm, and his arm's pretty incredible too. I got to see him play quite a few games this last year.
In the Alberta Bowl, he had twice the rushing yards as he did passing yards. There's a pitch out to Carter Kettle. He's got some good yardage, and I believe he's going to pick up the first down as he charges towards the 25-yard line.
Yeah, the officials are signaling to move the sticks. And that's another jet sweep, just with a little pop pass there. Get the ball into the hands of a playmaker, and Kettle is just that. He is a playmaker. We've seen that time after time last year, whether it's a threat downfield vertically or another threat in the run game to stretch the perimeter of that defense. They got to account for Kettle wherever he is. They got to account for him.
Tanwani in the shotgun. One back. It's a play action. Tanwani kicks out to the right. He's dangerous here. He throws it out to Kettle. And about a yard too far. That would have been a huge play for Tanwani and Kettle.
Oh, and he was open on that corner route with that little bootleg action. And that's, you know, honestly a case of probably quarterback and receiver haven't worked together for that long and just getting that timing down. I know there's 3 quarterbacks on this roster and a number of receivers, so that's one that if they had, you know, another few days together of practice, I'm sure they would connect on.
So it'll be a 2nd and 10 now for Team North on their 2nd drive of the game. Tons of linebackers here creeping up to the D-line. It's a full blitz here from Team South, and it's tipped at the line. Team South brought all the pressure to Tanwani, and he didn't have time to get it away.
Yeah, Team South wasn't even going to disguise that. They're just going to walk those linebackers down, mugging up the line of scrimmage, getting a lot of penetration. I think that was number 77 who got his fingertips on that ball, Alexander Obo from the Notre Dame Pride. Another powerhouse football program in the province.
So Kettle around the same area he punted last time. He's got a good leg on him, the receiver. Here's another line drive punt, end over end towards the left side of the field. It just stays in bounds, and no, they're going to whistle it down. I believe the kick returner had a foot out of bounds when he caught that one.
Yeah, from our vantage point, that looked very close to being on the white stripe. And yes, they're going to mark it back at about midfield. Well, we're waiting for the fireworks here. Let's see who scores the first points, but you can tell already by the first couple of drives that there's no shortage of speed and talent on the field.
Handoff straight up the middle. It's a good run here for Team South as they're brought down at the 45. Ethan Picard staying in the game at quarterback, by the way, for Team South. Handoff going for 9.
Well, that's the quickest way to get 9 yards, just a handoff in between the tackles. Let the big boys up front on the O-line do their work and do their thing, and they did just that for about a 8.5, 9-yard gain.
Sean Clazy in the backfield. Behind Picard. We'll see if they go to him here on 2nd and short. They do. Clazy to the right. He's got about 4. And full team tackling there and pushing the pile forward. Another good gain for Team South.
And that's just kind of some throwback football right there. Get 2 backs in the backfield, hand it to a bruiser, let the line move the big bodies backwards. Good gain there. And Clazy's another guy we got to watch in that Tier 3 championship in the Alberta Bowl, and he had a phenomenal game. A real power runner with great vision and quick feet.
Picard looks right, deep pass, and there is a flag on the play. It's going to be a pass interference on the defense, seeing those arms getting up around the shoulder pads.
Yeah, that flag came out a little bit late, but it looks like it's definitely warranted. There was contact down the field. Defensive back gets beat with his man behind him. He reached out his arms there, grabbed on looks like the top of the shoulder pads or the jersey. So that's a good call.
I mentioned we've seen a lot of these players in the Alberta Bowl, but these coaches as well. Chad, they've coached against each other, Vince Oreo and Rob McNabb. 6 straight Alberta Bowls in the Tier 3 championships. McNabb winning all 6, unfortunate for Oreo, but these two coaches know each other so well.
Oh, they do. And, you know, they play some fantastic competitive games, but Coach Oreo is looking for a different outcome today.
Bobble on the snap. It's a handoff to the right. Another good run here for Team South. And taken down at the last moment was Piscanieri. Shoelace tackler, he might have found his way to the end zone.
Oh, I thought he was in. Great cut by the running back, Piscanieri, and touchdown saving tackle by number 55, Andrew Grant, out of Austin O'Brien. He led the Car Conference Division I in Metro Edmonton in tackles, the leading tackler in the whole division, and there's a number of players from that division on this defense.
Team South knocking on the door of a touchdown. Snap is low, and Picard goes into scramble mode. Does he have room to his left? And he picks up about a yard. Not a bad gain considering how that play started.
Yeah, a bit of a broken play, so to get something positive, I'm sure coaches are taking a big breath and they'll live with that. But good tackle there in the open field by Enoch Cuevas from the Ardrossan Bisons. We got to see him up close and personal this last year. Him and number 44 at linebacker, Dustin Jonker, were the heart and soul of that Ardrossan defense this year. They kept him in a lot of games.
2nd and goal from the 8. 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the left. 2 to the left, 3 to the right. Picard looks left early. It's a jump ball. And just out of the reach of Nicholas Sirleaf, who's hanging around the goal line.
Good coverage there on that play. Team North showing some pressure with number 21, Mason Lane, I believe that is, number 21, out of Leduc. I remember Lane when he was in grade 10, and we got to play them in a semifinal game, and I could have sworn he was a senior back in 2019. He played like a man back in grade 10, so just a phenomenal linebacker. Great talent out there.
So I still see Ethan Picard on the field, but they're not keeping their offense on. He's going to hold it for kicker Jackson Shorten. It'll be a 15-yard attempt for Shorten, the first attempt of the day. Wind dies down. Good hold there from Picard, and Shorten puts it right through the uprights. It'll be a 3-point lead for Team South.
Well, they get rid of the goose egg with that field goal. And yeah, real good hold. I like how you mentioned that because the snap was a little bit short. It looked like it actually bounced on the turf here if we check out the replay. Good hold, good execution. And again, that's something, you know, we take for granted during the season, but in an all-star setting and team, there's not that many minutes devoted to coaching special teams when you have so much of your offense and defensive systems to install. So I'm always amazed just how talented these football players are, that they make that look easy, and I guarantee they haven't repped that many times.
New quarterback in here for Team North. It's Anthony Chambers from the Austin O'Brien Crusaders. Chambers with a handoff. They'll go up the middle, and another quick stop for that Team South defensive line. They are taking the game over early here, Chad.
Oh, they are. I really like what Team South is doing up front on both sides of the ball. Hunter Baltzma coming free there from Cardston on just a beautiful form tackle to limit that gain to about a yard and a half.
Empty backfield for Chambers. Looks to the right, feels the pressure. He's scrambling. Tons of red all around Chambers. Only about a 3-yard gain. And this drive is going to stall out around the Team North 40-yard line.
Well, it's going to get difficult for Team North to move the ball. If on first down they want to continue to run that ball, but they're only getting a yard or 2, because then it's 2nd and long, and Team South knows it's a passing situation. So you don't see many receivers coming open out there. And so, of course, the quarterback Chambers forced to scramble there to pick up some positive yards, but still a punting situation from the 40.
Nicholas Doyle and Chewy Thomas back to receive here for Team South. Line drive kick for Kettle. Thomas picks it up, bobbles it originally, and a great stop there on special teams.
Mason Lane again going down the field. He's a maniac out there today.
And it's Ethan Picard back on the field here for Team South. So as a coach, how do you dictate how you're going to change your quarterbacks on a day like today?
Well, on a day like today, I mean, like I said, everybody who made this team has talent and they're an athlete. So they might have designated quarters or even just by series. So maybe one quarterback gets the first 3 and then they have a rotation. Could be an even split or maybe a 3-1 scenario. I guess we'll see as the day goes on.
Handoff up the middle. What a burst of speed here for Team South. That was running back Isaac Owosu. His first touch of the game is a good one.
You know, and it doesn't matter who's playing quarterback if the O-line is opening holes like that. You know, I think you or I could have got at least 3 or 4 yards on that one. But
even Dave Foley might have picked up a couple.
Maybe.
Cameraman, producer of IC Live. Under a minute left to play here in the first quarter. High snap, Picard wheels it in, another run. And this time a much better play there for the D-line on Team North.
Yeah, 33 with the stop there for Team North. Braxton Rudiskny from Peace River, and that young man is actually a phenomenal running back in his own right. You know, we played them in the provincials, and I'm telling you, our entire game plan was built around that guy. We had to know where he was as a linebacker, but when he's a running back, you know, we accounted 2 linebackers to go wherever he was. Phenomenal football player.
2nd and about 7 here. Picard drops back. Looking deep, it's a streak down the sidelines into double coverage, and it's caught but out of bounds. Nearly a big play there for Team South, but they just run out of space.
Well, the receiver had a step on the DB, and that's a beautiful ball thrown, but even with this 65-yard wide Canadian field, they ran out of space. So, you know, the quarterback's got to keep it in there, you know, another yard, half a yard, but they'll go back to that because they had that. The safety couldn't rotate over quite on time, so I'm sure they will go back to that one.
Team South will bring on the punting unit, probably the last play here of the first quarter. Good punt will bounce at the 30. And now behind the returners, they haven't touched it, so Team South will have to keep their 5 yards. And we will see a flag for no yards on the play, so no return for Team North, but they'll get 5 on the no yards. And might actually have one more play here to end the first quarter.
And I really like the directional punting that both teams are doing here. They know that whoever is back on punt return is going to be very dangerous with the ball in their hands. So give credit to both punters for getting those balls close to the sidelines and the cover teams for getting down there.
Head official Duncan Nassy with the call. Hasn't had a ton of work early.
Yeah, it's been a pretty clean game so far. Sometimes these all-star games can be littered in penalties just because timing's off, and again, going back to communication. So it's been a pretty crisp game here so far, even though it's been low scoring. Credit to both defenses.
Interesting formation here. Tons of movement, and I think they get South to jump offside, or is it a false start?
I thought I saw some movement on that D-line, but Red's pointing at Green. Green's not really pointing at Red, so we'll see which way this one goes.
The 31st annual Senior Bowl. It's going to go against the offense, so they'll move it back 5 yards.
So it looked like Team North tried a bit of a hard count there with motion coming from those H-back receiver hybrids there. Now they're motioning out number 7, Kettle.
Cade Lebrecq at quarterback. This constant rotation of Team North quarterbacks continues. Lebrecq with the handoff. And working his way to the right side was Duncan Critch. Doesn't pick up much on the play, and we'll flip sides. It's the first Senior Bowl since 2019, Chad. Team South had won 4 straight before in 2019. Team North took the first one in a while.
Yeah, Team South was on quite a roll there, and then 2019 North got the better of South, and then of course, you know, we entered into a pandemic, so it's just great to have everybody out here celebrating these high school all-stars today. Win or lose, these boys are going to take pride in their performance today, and they're going to create memories for many years to come.
So it'll be actually a loss of a couple yards, it looks like, there for Team North. It'll be a 2nd and 12 as we flip the field from their own 24.
Yeah, Critch did a good job to get anything there as that play was stuffed in the backfield. But, you know, we've seen Critch play before. Again, he was another guy in the Senior Bowl. It was just phenomenal.
23 carries, 216 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Critch in the Senior Bowl. You feel like it's just a matter of time before things might open up a bit here for this Team North offense as they look out to the right. And once again, not much on the play. There's an early tackle there.
Yeah, number 42, Cale Morgan.
I was wondering there's a bit of an awkward looking play, and Spencer Juricic gets up a little limp.
Yeah, he's needing some assistance to come off there. I'm not sure if maybe he just got winded on that play. His legs seem to be moving fine, but he's laboring a little bit in the upper body.
So Carter Kettle on once again. Similar territory for him. The 4th punt of the game for Team North. Thomas back to receive. And running out of bounds with it is Nicholas Doyle.
Good take there by Doyle, getting the ball in the air. Kettle didn't get that one quite as far to the perimeter as he would have hoped for, as it stayed in between the numbers. So South starting in positive territory here, the 50-yard line of the North. The North needs to get some momentum going right now. They need a big stop by the defense. And on the flip side, prime opportunity for the South to pad their lead.
Crew Hirsch getting his first snap of the game here for Team South. Jet sweep. Oh, to Piscanieri. A ton of yards, and he's tackled just before the 35. That's more than enough for a first down.
Piscanieri looks very explosive here in this first half. I'd be looking to get him the ball a couple of more times in the next drive or two. And there's that jet sweep again, threatening the edge and the perimeter there. And again, they'll keep going back to that if Team North cannot defend that a little bit more stoutly.
Read an article about Crew Hirsch from the Lethbridge Herald. It said this is his last year of football. He's a member of the Mormon Church, and he has the opportunity to go to a mission in Mexico over the next 2 years.
Well, we wish him all the best on his mission, and perhaps after that mission's over, he'll continue his athletic career. Got to see him play one game in preseason this year, and I thought he was a tremendous talent, so it's good to see him out here today. Although he just takes that sack, there was a plethora of Team North defenders in the backfield that time, I think led by number 34, Cage Hool from Parkland.
Crew Hirsch on a 2nd and 16. Might not be looking for the first down here, might just be looking for field goal yardage as that pass goes out to Sirleaf, who reels it in out across the 30, still on his feet, and this is going to be close to a first down and potentially an interesting decision here for head coach Rob McNabb.
Yeah, it looks like 3rd and perhaps a long yard. Morris coming over to negate that first down, but looks like they're subbing some big bodies on. I look for them to go for it here on about 3rd and 2. You know, and that's nice when you can just get the ball out to your wide receiver on a screen pass on 2nd and long, and he puts you in a situation to get the first down. Good execution there by Team South.
Hirsch goes under center, 2 backs. Heavy formation. Handoff straight up the middle. A quick tackle from Team North, and I think they've stopped them short, Chad.
I think they did. It's going to be close, but I believe North stopped him there.
Might have lost a yard, if anything. And it will be Team North ball.
That's been the best penetration of the day by Team North.
You know, Chad, Team North has struggled to get their offense going here, but you got to give their defense credit. Team South has seen some short fields and has only come up with 3 points here.
Oh, yeah, the defense is keeping them in there right now. So the offense, I mean, even if they don't score here, starting at their own 30, 29-yard line, they at least need to get first downs.
Hard count. Nobody jumps, and they'll line it up again. Snap to Lebrecq, seeing his 2nd series straight. They're going to go deep. Kettle had a step and somehow moves his way around the defenders and reels it in. There's a flag on the field, but for now they're calling it a catch.
Yeah, I think this one actually might go against the defense for defensive pass interference, but those are just 2 guys who know each other well, you know, and we saw that throughout the year. They can adjust on the fly. Quarterback can give the receiver a little bit of motion and direction, and give Kettle great credit to coming back to an underthrown ball, making the adjustment, and a beautiful catch.
Penalty does go to the defense. It's a 34-yard gain for Lebrecq and Kettle. Connecting once again.
And North is going to have to get this aerial attack going because they're not able to muster much in the ground game, especially on first down, trying to run between the tackles. Very limited success. So look for them to loosen up that defense a little bit by taking shots on first down.
Looks like Team South is going to line up in a 3-4 here on the next play, loading up the box. 7 players in there.
Yeah, so look for some blitzes coming from these linebackers, coming from different directions.
See a blitz down the right side of the line. Lebrecq has to move out quickly. Flag on the play, and Lebrecq's just going to throw it away and gets hit hard. And that play will be blown dead. A couple flags on the play, and Lebrecq is pretty lumber after the hit.
Yeah, Lebrecq got hit really awkwardly there. Right as he threw, he came down on that right arm, that throwing arm, and he's in considerable pain. And this is something, you know, and I don't care if you're cheering on South or North, you never want to see a player get injured in an all-star game. Not when they're going to be continuing on. Most of these players, their playing careers either at the junior or university level after this. And I know Cade has signed with the U of A, and you know, they have very high hopes for him. Just a tremendous quarterback, tremendous talent. We hope this isn't too serious.
Yeah, so it was on the hit. Shortly after the ball was released, officials still discussing the calls on the play.
Now, Odom Wingy came flying off that edge. I thought he timed that up really well. I'm not sure if that first flag was an offsides call, but I thought he looked at time. He might have been just a hair offside on that.
Lebrecq looks like they're looking at his right arm. Knew it right away as soon as he hit the turf. He went down awkwardly.
Well, they called the hold. Like you said, Calgary had gone to that 3-4 defense, and quite often when teams are deploying a 3-4 scheme, you see a lot of movement and a lot of blitzing from the linebackers, and it can be a really tough defense to pass block against when you got linebackers attacking from different angles. And Team South had a couple of guys go free on that, and unfortunately, Lebrecq got hit as he released that ball, and he's getting some assistance off the field.
So Lebrecq crosses over the hash marks. We hope that's not his last snap of the game, although I'd imagine they'd rather play it careful in a scenario like this.
Yeah, I would think so. He looked to be in a considerable amount of pain. So again, we hope it's not serious, but yeah, it wouldn't be surprising if that was Lebrecq's last snap of the afternoon.
So that looks like Roy Tanwani now subbing in at quarterback. Takes the snap. Sorry, that's Anthony Chambers. Quick pitch to Carter Kettle, who gets tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Team South defense coming up strong once again.
Wow, that's the definition of gang tackling right there. Tremendous angle pursuit by Team South. Those linebackers are flying. Now, North's gone to that Kettle jet sweep earlier on, and this time, South just snuffed that one out for a loss.
It'll be a 3rd and 14. Receivers, punt returners rather stay the same. It's receiver Nicholas Doyle and Chewy Thomas. Kettle to punt it away from plus territory. He has some good leg on it. Doyle goes back, picks it up inside of his own 5. He's got a little bit of room out to the right, and he'll just take it out of bounds, takes what he can get, and they'll mark him down at the 14.
Really good punt by Kettle.
Flag on the play as well.
This could be a hold on the receiving team.
Chaz Walker with the force out.
You know, Chad, this game means so much to these players. I was listening to an interview on CITL CKSA out of Lloydminster. Head coach Vince Oreo for Team North said, you have to make every catch, you have to make every play. Like, you really can't miss a rep because some kids are perfect throughout the whole weekend. It's a competitive environment and it's a little bit stressful. These players are so high level. Can it add some stress to these guys as well?
Oh, definitely. You know, a lot of these players come from a program where they are top dog. You know, it could be a big fish in a small pond, and then you get to these tryouts and sideline to sideline. They're all football players and they're all tremendous talents. So definitely, but you know, being pushed and being in a competitive environment, iron sharpens iron, and it should bring out the best in these athletes.
Opportunity for the team in green. They've got Team South backed up on their own 1. Tough field position for Crew Hirsch. Handoff up the middle, and they do just get over the goal line, but down at the 1.
Yeah, Team North was reading run the whole way there. Those linebackers are starting to creep up towards the line of scrimmage. That's another good tackle by Rudneski there from the Peace River Pioneers.
Looks to be minimal gain. We'll still call it 2nd and 10 for Team South.
Right around their own goalposts. Even more challenges being added here for Crew Hirsch. One player in the backfield will go to empty. Hirsch looks left, scrambles, passes out of the end zone, jumping forward. Was that Sirleaf again with another amazing catch?
Yeah, he had a nice wheel route there to the field, and that is a big, big throw. So huge credit there. I believe that was Chewy Thomas who came up with that one. So he runs a shallow out and then turns it up vertically along the sidelines. But, you know, that's a hard throw to make there on the wide side of the field. So lots of credit to the quarterback and receiver.
Chewy Thomas. Getting Team South away from their own goal line, and all of a sudden, 27 yards later, they're starting to drive the ball. They're going to look left again, and reeling it in is Doyle. What a catch with the fingertips.
Shows you why the South has those two boys on punt return as well, doesn't it? Dynamic playmakers on the field. And let's give Hirsch credit. That's a beautifully thrown ball. Right on the fingertips.
Just enough on that ball.
These receivers are starting to get some separation from the DBs now.
From the North 49 is a handoff to the left, and it's a big run down across the 40. Isaac Owusu picks up 10.
Well, Owusu's showing really good burst here, putting his cleat down and turning vertically.
7-yard line, 1st and 10, Team South.
That's a downhill runner if I've ever seen one, Chad.
Oh, it is. You know, and I love seeing that. Again, it's the easiest way to get a quick 10 yards on a first down, right? Rudneski with the tackle again there for Team North.
73 yards on 4 plays here for Team South, but this time Team North comes up. Big tackle right on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Dustin Balmer out of Sexsmith, who had a tremendous season in 2021, limiting the play to just 2 yards. I'm sure the South wants to come away with points, but, you know, this is a victory because they were down at their 1-yard line, so they've got consecutive first downs, they're taking time off the clock, and they've flipped the field again.
Hirsch looking right. Moves past Chewy Thomas on the check and feels the pressure, drag down from behind. Flag is on the field, and Caden Eady looks like he's gonna get penalized on the play.
Yeah, I think he is, and this is a close one. I don't know if they're saying that he pulled him down by the horse collar. Let's see here on the replay. Yeah, I think they're gonna call horse collar. He just reached in above the numbers.
Against Team North.
So the drive stays alive for Team South.
I like the way Crew Hirsch is moving here, though, on those rollouts. Team North's having a hard time containing him, and, you know, nothing was really open down the field there. I thought that was really well played by the secondary of Team North. An unfortunate penalty there. I'm glad the quarterback gets up and he's not injured. That Edie is another heck of a talent there from what I call the pound-for-pound champs, the St. Joe Celtics. They were the Tier 2 provincial champs, and, you know, they might have been right up there with Harry Ainley as the best programs in the whole province last year.
Dominant in the trenches. Crew Hirsch. Play action. Has some room to his left. Looks to the end zone, and it's off the fingertips. That was looks like Sirleaf in the end zone, couldn't quite reel it in.
That's one he definitely wants to have back. And again, credit to Hirsch again for getting outside of containment, getting his hips around, and he delivered a really catchable football there in the end zone. That should have been 6 points.
2nd and 10 from the 20.
I'm really impressed with this undersized quarterback at a LCI.
Empty backfield. Hirsch feels the pressure. It was a screenplay, and it goes nowhere.
That was read really well by the defensive lineman.
Clear pass intended for Chiesa Pisconieri goes incomplete.
So the drive will stall short here
Brandon
for Team
Carroll
South.
knocking the ball down.
They're going to set up a 27-yard field goal here. It'll be Jackson Shorten on as the kicker again here for Team South. Has made one field goal today. I believe it was only for about 12 yards.
Yeah, it's a little bit longer this time.
Wind has died down. Flag's hardly moving. If anything, a slight breeze to the left. Kick is up. It's got more than enough legs, and tough to see with the short uprights here, but looked like it was right down the middle.
Yeah, from our angle, it's really, really hard to tell as those uprights look to be sawed off, but he's got a strong leg, that's for sure. Put it right back to basically to the stripes at the back of the end zone.
So Jackson Shorten has all 6 points of the game so far.
You know, and that's a victory for Team South to start at their own 1 yard line and to be able to move the ball down the field and come away with points and take a lot of time off the clock here in the second quarter. Like, there's only 3.5 minutes left to go in the first half. The afternoon's flying by.
It's been a well-played game between these two teams. Roy Tanwani in at quarterback. Takes a snap, quick look right, a good delivery out to Kettle. He's got some room on the outside, a couple flags down, and Kettle crosses midfield and goes out of bounds.
Now they might be calling an illegal block against Team North. It looks like this is coming back. But Kettle gives you a glimpse of the explosiveness he has when the ball is in his hands. No doubt he is the go-to receiver for Team North. And with Tanwani in here at quarterback now for North, look for him to use his legs. He's just an exceptional athlete. I was amazed game after game with how Harry Ainley had him carry the football. You know, he looked like a top-level running back, but he's got a cannon of an arm.
Committed to the Calgary Dinos, an absolute powerhouse in U Sports.
And that's a great signing for the Dinos. They have a phenomenal athlete right there. And from everything I hear, an incredibly hard worker and a good team leader.
So they'll move it back 10 yards, and Team North just not able to get things going. It's like they have a big play and then a big negative right after.
Yeah, and that one hurts. You know, a big first down on first down where they've really, really struggled on first down. So to be going 1st and 20 is not where they want to be.
Basically becomes a 22-yard penalty. Here's a little bit of a trick play. They reverse it out to Kettle. They might have some room on the outside. Kettle with a burst of speed. It's a first down for sure. And Kettle finally dragged down at the South 47.
What a time to pull out a little bit of trickeration on the flea flicker reverse. For a second there, I thought Kettle might take that to the house.
They've been looking at Kettle a lot so far as they've looked to get this offense going, and so the penalty doesn't really hurt him too much.
Good play call there.
Tanwani, a couple fakes, looks to the left, and somehow reeling it in was Max Taylor.
Yeah.
It's like through his legs.
Yeah, Max catching it in between his legs. Gets about a 6-yard gain on first down, and that's positive plays that Team North can build on. Now the whole playbook's open on 2nd and 4. 2nd and 5 maybe. I actually had the good fortune to coach Max way back when he was just in Atom football, and you know, we knew he was going to be a tremendous football player. Not necessarily sure he'd be a wide receiver at that point, but he's taking his talent to the Edmonton Wildcats next year, so we wish Max Taylor all the best.
3-minute warning. They'll snap it again. Tanwani, a bit of room, moves it to the outside, and now he looks to use his legs. Tanwani out to the left, breaks across the first down line and brought down at the 30. There's a flag in the backfield. Is it coming back again?
So usually in the area of holding.
Logan Wells with the tackle.
But this is what Tanwani can bring to an offense. He has that ability to make plays happen with his legs. And I'm not talking about just picking up a few yards. I'm talking about first downs every time he pulls it down.
Offense is walking back, so it will be called here on Team North. It's actually an unnecessary roughness call.
Unnecessary roughness penalty against Team North.
Didn't hear what the ref said.
Well, and that's a big penalty.
The 53-yard line of Team North.
So that's a
second and about 20 yards to go.
So from
15-yarder.
A first down to now a second and very long here.
That ends up being another difference of 20 yards for the second time this drive. Handoff going absolutely nowhere. Duncan Critch can't get out of the backfield. And just as Team North looked like they were getting things going, things stopped short once again.
Yeah, and second and long, we're seeing a lot of blitz packages here from Team South, where these linebackers are coming from different angles, whether they're looping off the edge or they're going in the B gap, but they are getting penetration and they are disrupting these plays in the backfield. Just a swarm of red jerseys in the backfield.
Looks like TSO Piscanieri is going to join Chewy Thomas back to kick return. A great punt off the leg of Carter Kettle. Bounces down back towards Team North. That's a bad bounce for North. Possibly a no yards here. Pickup of about 6 on the return anyways, and Team South will have 2 minutes and 12 seconds for their offense to run things down the field.
Yeah, a bit of an unfortunate bounce for the North as Kettle got all of that with a booming punt, but once it hit the turf, it came almost like a boomerang going straight back towards the punter. Undoubtedly a no yards penalty being called here.
You know, Chad, it's an interesting time for so many of these young players. They got a lot to balance. They got to balance school, graduation, jobs, relationships, families, their futures in football, education-wise, job-wise. What gets these players to this level when they have to balance all those things?
Well, most of these players have learned somewhere along the way time management, and you know that's something we stress to all of our young student athletes when they enter high school, that you see some of the most successful people that juggle multiple responsibilities really master the art of time management. And, you know, for all these young men, whether they're going on to junior university football, that's something that's going to be front and center, because you know they all have relationships with family and friends that they want to keep healthy as well. So playing football is a huge commitment at this level, and that's why I just, you know, I absolutely commend all these young men that are doing this.
So there was a couple penalties on the play. They'll bring it back just outside the Team South 20. Another handoff to the left side. Team North gang tackle, about 3 players in there for the team in green.
And that's a good job by the North defense there, limiting a very good back to just a couple of yards.
Just outside 2 minutes. A quick stop here. Maybe you give your offense another chance. You're only down by 6 here for Team North. It'll be a 2nd and 8. Hirsch dropping back. Might be a free play with a flag on the field. They go out wide to Sirleaf. Oh, what hands! He reels it in across midfield. And a big gain of about 37 yards.
Yeah, and I think this is an offside call against the North. And again, another huge pitch and catch from Team South. Well, no, they're walking it back.
Interesting.
Could this be an offside? Oh, it's an illegal cut block, it looks like. Oh, an offside.
Flags were so early. It looked in the area of a free play there.
Well, that negates a huge play. South shooting themselves in the foot a little bit right here, because they could have got into scoring range to end the half. And now they'll look out most likely just to somehow run out this clock with the first down, but they're getting backed up.
It's going to be 2nd and very long all of a sudden now. You know, the score is only 6-0, and these offenses are moving backwards. That's a huge penalty. That goes down to about their own 3, but I will say the offenses look to have found their footing a little bit, even if it's not showing up on the scoreboard.
Yeah, they have. They're executing some big plays. Unfortunately for both offenses, they're taking penalties, and that's negating some of these big plays in the good field position. So an illegal chop block there.
2nd and 28. It'll be a handoff to the right, bouncing back up the middle, and I think the goal there for Team South was just stay out of your own end zone.
Yeah, I think so. So they're going to have to make a decision if whether or not they're going to give up a safety or punt the ball from deep in their end zone right now.
So Team North has been struggling to move the ball a little bit, but they did last drive a little better. As a coach, what are you doing?
Well, right now I'm looking for, and it's limited time actually, so we don't know everything that they've installed, but I would be looking for a little bit of play action on first down, because they've been running the ball between the tackles and occasionally going off tackle with the jet sweep. So I'd be looking for play action off that and take a shot deep on first down.
Will Team South take the safety? No gunners, max protection. No, they will punt it away. It's a line drive that'll bounce at the 40 and is fielded by Team North at the 47. It's Kettle bouncing out to the left, picks up a block and sheds a tackle and goes down across the 30. The best field possession of the game here for Team North.
Well, I'm sure Coach Oreo and the North coaching staff feels they have to come away with points on this drive. 1:20 left in the half, getting the ball at the opposition's 30-yard line, so almost in field goal range already. But they got to be thinking major here and really swing the momentum for halftime to go in with a tie game or a 1-point lead.
Pivotal moment in this 2022 Senior Bowl.
But Team South has had a stout defense so far, lining up in that 3-4. Giving the North all sorts of problems with their protections.
Here's Chambers. Feels the pressure. Kicks out to the right. Stays behind the line of scrimmage. Keeps the play alive. And it's out to Kettle again. Down across the 15-yard line. Sheds a couple tackles. Still on his feet and he's in. What a play by Carter Kettle.
First touchdown of the 2022 Senior Bowl. Carter Kettle from St. Joe's.
And credit there to Anthony Chambers keeping that play alive. He had a chance to pick up about 5 or 6 yards, but elected to keep the play alive behind the line of scrimmage instead.
And that's what's really impressive is he kept his eyes down the field, because I thought he was just going to tuck it and take the positive yards, but instead he throws a touchdown pass because he kept his eyes scanning down the field, waiting for his receiver to flash open.
And all of a sudden, Aaron DeMerchant has a chance to put Team North up by 1. Snap is good, hold is good, and it's straight through. Team North takes a 1-point lead. And it happened quickly. Remember, it was just like 3 or 4 plays ago that Team South had caught a pass across the Team North 50, but penalty brings them back. It ends up almost becoming like a 50-yard penalty.
Well, and this is why coaches stress the importance about not taking penalties, not shooting yourselves in the foot, and not playing when you're in the negatives. So even a 2nd and 10, if you're a team as talented as what we're seeing out here, you can make a first down happen. But when you're consistently backed up behind the chains, that's when it gets really hard to move the ball. And not only that, but you lose field positioning. So the North took huge advantage over a monstrous penalty for an illegal chop block. And and I honestly, I couldn't see that one from our vantage point, but these illegal low blocks is something that they really want to take out of the game, especially at the high school and amateur level, as and I feel they should. It causes a lot of injuries, and we want to protect the players.
So 1 minute, 9 seconds left here in the second quarter. Things have totally opened up.
Well, and we'll see what the South has in terms of a quick tempo or lightning, no-huddle offense, because 1 minute and 9 is a lot of time to move down the field.
Aaron DeMerchant on the kickoff. Good directional kick there, will bounce across the 10 and be picked up by Team South, who gets swarmed right across the 20. What a tackle there. Looks like that might have been Logan Wells. My apologies, Dustin Jonker.
That's a big tackle here, just seeing this on the replay.
Back to the 23-yard line. It'll be first down.
In open field. Was that Jonker 44?
Yeah, that was Jonker. What a play.
Yeah, we saw enough of him during the season. I had nightmares about that guy. I think he had like 14 solo tackles against us. Wow. Yeah, like I said, you know, him and Cuevas, they held our Drawson in a lot of games, made them a very competitive team.
Hirsch in the pocket, breaks containment, down across the 40 and out of bounds. On nearly a 20-yard gain there for Hirsch in the offense.
Really impressive play on first down. To scramble, pick up positive yards, get out of bounds. I'm really, really impressed with this young man out of LCI. Like I said, I only got to see LCI play one game, and that was in the preseason against the Belrose Bulldogs, but you could tell they had 4 or 5 guys on that team that were next-level talent.
One back. Hirsch in the shotgun. It's a reverse, and somehow staying on his feet, able to pick up a couple yards there was Isaac Owusu. He was not easy to tackle.
No, that was a tremendous cut there. I thought that play was stopped in the backfield, but Owusu made a nice cut and carried some defenders with him to get a positive gain there before he finally got brought down by number 34, I think it was.
It's one of those plays where it's only a gain of about 3.5, but really it's a gain of 6 or 7. He would have been down about 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Under 40 seconds to play. Crew Hirsch looks right, fires right, and at the 50-yard line, it'll be stopped at forward progress. And as Ryan Grabmiller makes his first catch of the game.
And that's the importance of that first down run, where he was able to get the positive yards. Instead of 2nd and 13, it was 2nd and 6.5. And now we're at 3rd and inches where Team South's going to go for it here on a play that really you need to have. Now, Team North stopped them earlier on a 3rd and short situation.
And if they stop them again, still about a half a minute left in plus territory. This is a huge decision and a huge play for Coach Rob McNabb, who just last year won Coach of the Year for Tier 3 after his 16th, count that, 16th provincial championship in his 30 years head coaching at Cochrane.
You know, that's amazing. I think, you know, most coaches would hope that they could win one provincial championship in their careers. So what an amazing and successful career Coach McNabb has had. And, you know, he's built just a dynasty there, an absolute dynasty. So with timeout being called, we'll see if it gives the offense any time to perhaps put in maybe a little razzle-dazzle or something unexpected. Or maybe they'll try to do a hard count to get the defense to jump offside and get the freebie. They've had time to discuss and to talk about it.
A lot of outcomes on this play here, Chad. Being interesting to see what they run. I don't think Team North can really commit to run or anything here.
No, I mean, well, quarterback's going under center. Usually this could be a QB sneak. Oh.
Hirsch gets the snap, flag on the play. A good push from Hirsch. We'll have to check the flags on either side.
I saw movement from that right end on Team South. Looks like he jumped.
This will be an important call.
And punt team looks like they're coming out.
So could be backed up to a 3rd and 6.
I'm actually a little surprised the whistle didn't go there to stop that play.
Refs still discussing.
Oh, they're calling it both ways.
So it looks like it's going to stay a 3rd and 1 possibly here. And the offense is probably going to have to run back on the field here for Team South.
Now, I didn't see green jump right there. I saw red jump early, so maybe it was on the right side of the defense there. From our vantage point, though, tough to see.
The flags did come out on opposite sides of the field and at different times of the play as well. They were about a second apart.
So offsetting penalties, we got a do-over.
So they go with the quarterback sneak last time from Hirsch. It was good for about 3 yards, which was more than enough to pick up the first down. Can they do it again?
Yeah, I think maybe don't get fancy. That O-line had a great surge.
I think now if you're Team North, you can settle for the run here too.
Yeah, they got to get down, and they got to get off the ball if they're going to hope for any stop.
It'll be another quarterback sneak. Hirsch to the left, and he gets pushed back. This is going to be really close.
I think they're going to give it to him.
Hirsch calling his own number.
It is close, though.
Got behind that left guard.
Are they going to measure?
It does look like they have more than enough by about a half a yard, so they're going to move the yardsticks.
First down for Team South.
Now 24 seconds left in the half here for Team South to work things down the field.
53.
"24 seconds, still more than enough time to get into field goal range for the South. And they've had success on those vertical patterns where those wide receivers and slot backs are getting behind the defenders. Look for them to take a shot here.
Head coach Rob McNabb calls another timeout for Team South. Talking things over with Crew Hirsch. Is this timeout a bit about stopping the clock and getting into your formation earlier? Is this about play design?
Most likely it's to get 2 plays called in here. So that way they can get right to the line. Now he's probably going to come in, he's probably going to call the next 2 plays. So that way we can see them go no huddle, up tempo to save some time on that clock.
Seven to 6 for Team North. South nearing midfield, driving the ball, looking to take the lead going into the half.
Say look for 88. Is that Chewy Thomas?
Thomas out left in the flats. He was looking at Thomas, staring him down, and said he has to look downfield. Hirsch sheds 1 sack and another, but finally gets dragged down. Great play there by Caden Eady.
Yeah, Eady with a big sack in the backfield, and that's going to take the scoring hopes most likely will dwindle now for Team South. Big sack by Eady, who again is just a football player. You know, watching him during the season, he played on offense as well as a big tight end H-back type player, and you know he had a lot of big plays on the offensive side of the ball, and we know what he can do on the defense.
So time ticks down. They'll let it run nearly to zeros. It'll be a handoff to the left and stopped in the backfield. Another great play there for Team North. They were down 6-0 just a couple of game minutes ago, but Chad, they're going to go to the locker rooms up by 1.
Yeah, if you're Team North, you've got to be very happy with how this half turned out. I thought they were getting outplayed early on, and they definitely had a field position not in their favor. So to come away with a 1-point lead at halftime, they've got to be excited about that. But, you know, South's going to rally here, and we're in for a heck of a football battle of Alberta here for the second half.
Both teams head off to their locker rooms. Chad Hill and Connor Toffin on this IC Live procast of the 2022 Senior Bowl. Team Green heads into the locker room with a 7-6 lead. Welcome back to the 31st edition of the Senior Bowl. Team North with a 7-6 lead here on Team South. Connor Toffin on play-by-play, joined by Sturgeon head coach Chad Hill. Chad, take us through a few of those first half stats, and really I just want to talk about how Team North is up in this game.
Well, that's what we're wondering up here. They have a 1-point lead at halftime when the time of possession has been almost double for Team South, and by far they have more net yards. So how is Team North in it? Well, they've been opportunistic. A couple of big sacks to negate good drives, and they took their advantage of penalties. So South backed themselves up with penalties. North got good field position, and they really just had the one good drive capped off by a Kettle touchdown. And, you know, for the North, they got to be looking to more Kettle in the second half. But, yeah, we're kind of scratching our heads here because it does seem like the South has outplayed the North in the first half. But this is why stats are for losers, right?
That's right. And I will say Team North is playing, they might have given up a lot of yards, but a lot of the drives for Team South stalled right near midfield. What happened around midfield that slowed down the team in red?
Well, credit to the North defense because they're bending, they're not breaking. You know, we had one drop ball in the end zone for Team South, but other than that, you know, the North has done a good job of clamping things down in their own end. That, and of course, some of these penalties against both offenses have kept this a low-scoring game.
Haven't gotten eyes yet on quarterback Cade Lebrecq. He went down in the first quarter with an injury to his arm. And we'll see him back in the second here. So it'll be Anthony Chavers and Roy Tenwani on one side and Crew Hirsch and Ethan Picard on the other. Only a couple quarterbacks for Team South. So I wanted to talk to you about this during today's game, Chad. It's the first Senior Bowl since 2019. And now it feels like we're a little bit removed from it football-wise. But a lot of these players lost seasons, right? So they lost seasons because of COVID. And they've had to work hard to get back on scouts' radars.
Yeah, and honestly, that does hurt the development of some players. Now, obviously, all the young men on this field have excelled and achieved at a very high level, but undoubtedly some have had to work extra hard with that year loss, right? I even look at a guy like Tanwani at quarterback. You know, last year was his first year playing quarterback with Harry Ainley. You know, he was a receiver coming into high school. So the fact that he'd only had 1 year of quarterbacking experience just really shows the hard work and drive the young man has to be as successful as what he is.
It will be Team South receiving the ball first. Good kick there off the foot of DeMerchant. Received around the 15. Laying up the middle. Breaking free. It's Piscanieri across midfield. The 50 and a shoelace tackle right across the 40-yard line. Couldn't quite pick up the number. It's pretty far away, but a touchdown saving tackle for Team North.
Well, we got a highlight reel kick return to start the second half. What a way to break in the third quarter here. Broken tackle on the play, and then he just finds a seam. Number 6 there, Piscanieri. Good angle down, though, by number 32 of Team North. That's DeMerchant, the running back out of Austin O'Brien. Looking more like a linebacker on that play, but great field position for South to start this second half.
It's an advantage when your kicker also plays on the offense or defense and knows how to make those tackles. So Piscanieri follows up his strong first half in which he had 9 carries for 49 yards with a huge return, and there's a flag on the play, but a huge run. Lowering the shoulder was MJ Doyle Marshall.
Great run, hard-nosed run there by Marshall, but I think it's all for naught here on a hold. It looked like the left side of their line got a little bit handsy there with the defensive line, and this one is coming back.
Doyle Marshall only had 1 touch in that first half. It was good for 2 yards.
He's got fresh legs. He's ready to go.
So many different talented players here. We talked a lot about how Team North was consistently looking at Kettle. Do we think the ball might get moved around a little bit more here in the second, and we might actually see some guys that played more in that first get a little bit less reps maybe?
Yeah, I would think so. No, obviously Kettle's the game breaker for the North, but I thought the South did a much better job of spreading the ball around to some various receivers and multiple running backs. So I would say North will probably look to do the same when they're back on offense.
We've seen Crew Hirsch quite a lot in that second quarter for Team South. It's Ethan Picard opening up the third. Handoff to the right side. Piscanieri can't quite reach the 45. Pile is still pushing. That's probably one you just want to see blown dead there.
Yeah, if you're the offensive coach there, you're saying blow that thing before the football comes out. So it's going to be second and long. It looks about second and 16, second and 17 here. And this is what we talked about in the first half. These penalties where Team South sort of shooting themselves in the foot with these penalties, getting backed up behind the chains. This is going to be tough to convert on second and long.
Picard from the Cochrane Cobras, a provincial champion this year. Looks left, deep. He's got a man into the end zone. It's Chewy Thomas.
Forget what I said about hard to convert. They're going for the touchdown. Chewy Thomas on that deep corner route. Great ball by Pickard. Put it right on the money, and then let the big man break a tackle, cut back against the grain. A little stiff arm there for good measure before he hits the end zone.
The strong, athletic receiver from the Notre Dame Pride has Team South up by 5.
Chewy Thomas doing his best Randy Moss impersonation today, I think. He's going up, high pointing the ball, throwing out that stiff arm.
Shorten is good on the point after, and the lead is extended to 6 for Team South. What an opening drive. Only a minute 37 on the drive.
Well, we knew the South was gonna rally after halftime. I'm sure their coaches said, hey, we might be down by a point, but you know, we've played the better half of football. And for them now, it's coming into fruition on the scoreboard here with a hot start. And it came right off that opening kickoff with number 6 there. Piscanieri's big return to sort of ignite that offense and come onto the field with a bit of a spark.
How will Team North respond? The South is 16-13-1. That tie coming in 2001. It's a pretty long event. It was originally dreamt up in the 60s. Didn't take place until 1990, where the first game was held at Commonwealth Stadium.
And it's just grown and gotten bigger throughout the years. So, you know, big credit to Football Alberta for making this the event that it is. And it's become a very prestigious event and something that these young athletes really want to represent.
Shorten kicks it to about the 24. It was skied pretty high. Is it another big return? Down across the 45. It's a good pickup there. That looked like it might have been Duncan Critch for Team North.
Yeah, good return by Critch. Gets downhill fast after he gets his hands on that football. So Team North now starting with good field position at the 46-yard line. So we'll see if Team North spreads the ball around a little bit more. Got a trio of St. Albert receivers out there to the field with Bates, Mackey, and Taylor. Been seldom used in that first half.
South stays in the 3-4. They stack the line of scrimmage now. Tanwani looking deep. He's got a man to the right. And no, just couldn't quite bring it in was Gabe Ebert. There's the crowd from the South lets out a sigh of relief.
Oh, Ebert almost made a highlight reel catch as he dives for that ball. And, you know, I thought he had it. I think just he couldn't survive contact with the ground. The ball shakes loose. But a beautifully thrown football. And again, they're going to somebody else right away. I don't think we called Gabe Ebert's name in that first half. I like how they sent Kettle in motion across the formation to get that one-on-one matchup with the wide receiver in the corner.
Kettle and Ebert out to the right. Tanwani fakes the handoff, looking deep once again over the middle, and it's going to be overthrown. He had Raiden Duchesneau open, but couldn't quite find him, and it's going to be a 2-and-out here for Team North.
Yeah, and it almost looked like a little bit of a mix-up in the backfield with the quarterback and the running back. I'm not sure if that fake handoff was supposed to go in that same direction as the bootleg, but it looked like a little bit of confusion there. And then, Tanwani gets his hips around, and he's just got a rocket of an arm, and he overthrew the receiver on that one. And if there's one thing I noticed watching some Ainley games this year, if Tanwani's going to miss, he usually misses high with an overthrow. He's just got such an amazing arm.
Kettle gets a lot of leg on it. It'll be Chewy Thomas back to receive. Goes up with the hands and makes the grab. A good job reeling it in, and he'll return it out to about the 27. Flag down on the field. Could be for a late hit here. And Chewy Thomas and Braxton Rudneski having some words after the play. Thomas not happy.
Yeah, they're mixing it up a little bit, and you know, Rudneski's a fiery player himself from our game against Peace River. I remember that. He's an intense, emotional player. But this actually might be an illegal block against the return team, against the South.
Yeah, I don't think they'll get it against Rudneski, just based on the reaction there of Thomas. Looked like he was pleading with the refs for a flag on the play on a tackle, maybe a little bit too late. Haven't gotten the call quite yet, but the offense does look like they're going to start marching back.
Yeah, I think there could have been a bit of a clip there, so an illegal block being called against the return team. So again, the South is going to start deep in their own territory.
Ball will be placed on the 20-yard line. Picard at quarterback. See Chewy Thomas down the right side. He just scored a touchdown as he resets. Lines up in the slot. Handoff. Out to the left, a cutback. Out across the 30 and lowering the shoulder. Looks like
MJ Doyle Marshall.
That was MJ Doyle Marshall again.
Oh, Doyle Marshall, I like the legs on this guy and the good vision. See, we got a man down here for Team North, but this is just a little stretch run here to the short side of the field, to the boundary, and he cuts it up. He sees that defensive end wasn't going to get hooked or reached, so he just turns and cuts that up for positive yards at a big first down.
112 yards rushing in the first half.
Lynch is the injured player.
For the South, I mean, they just got so many weapons. I mean, they got Piscanieri, they got Doyle Marshall. We haven't even Owusu, and all different types of runners too. We got to see Sean Clazy down the stretch in the Alberta Bowl. They haven't even really used him yet.
Yeah, like it's an absolute wealth of talent in their backfield and on their offense, and not to be overlooked, but look at the size of that offensive line. You know, they're creating those holes for explosive ball carriers. So usually, you know, in any level of football, but especially high school football, if the rushing yards are really lopsided, normally that team comes out on top.
Injury was, looks like 58, Landon Madigan.
And they got Madigan listed on my roster here as offensive lineman, but clearly a two-way talent there out of the Salisbury Car Conference champions.
And spar unit of the Ministry of Culture and Status of Women.
That Sal offensive line so good this year.
Oh, they were. You know, they were just dominant, and they had a number of talented ball carriers, and it just looked easy some games. You know, it looked easy. They're rushing for 300+ yards a game on most weeks.
So it was a first down off the run from MJ Doyle Marshall, and Picard's ready to snap it from the 32. Handoff to the left. Might be Doyle Marshall again this time. A lot of tackles there for Team Green and more physicality after the play. It looked like Curtis Noble took a player down after the whistle had blown.
Yeah, you know, I'm really impressed just watching that left tackle of Team South there. I think that's Jacob Blackwater. We have listed at number 64, and just taking his defender for a ride, putting him on roller skates, driving him back. Really good blocking by that young man. And again, you know, North was full-on blitzing there, and so for Team South to still pick up 5 yards off of that, running right into the teeth of a blitz, that's a win on first down for the South.
Playbook open here for Team South. One of the officials going and discussing something with both coaches here. Not sure what this could be about.
Could be about that a little extracurricular after the whistle, roughing it up, as we saw, you know, a couple of linemen jostling, throwing each other to the ground. you know, sometimes they'll just call that, right, as unnecessary roughness. So I'm sure both benches are getting the warning.
Maybe not a warning we'd see in a regular season game, but with this being the Senior Bowl and players from different teams, and also a lot of players about to go into spring camps here with their football teams.
Yeah, that's just it.
Picard looks left. Sirleaf, it's intercepted, no! Dropped, and it falls to the ground. A good stop regardless, but Tyler Morris, the defensive back from Sal, had a golden opportunity for the pick, and there was a lot of green in front of him there too.
Yeah, Pickard drastically underthrew that ball. And sometimes for right-handed quarterbacks, getting the ball deep enough out to the left far hash is a bit of a struggle. And some of that just comes down to technique, not necessarily arm strength. So he underthrew that one, but that's an interception Morris has got to have there.
There's a bit of a gust of wind there as well as the ball was in the air. It's a little bit tough to predict the wind today. It hasn't been a lot, but there's been these subtle gusts. That punt out of bounds at the 48 rather. And that'll bring out the offense for Team North. Tie it up with a touchdown.
Just watching Morris leave the field, he's beating himself up about that one a little bit. But, you know, he's such a rangy defender. I'm not sure how tall he is. He looks every bit of 6'4", 6'5", and really tough to get the ball over a player like that. Watched him play a couple of games this year before he got injured, but just a tremendous talent.
Chambers in at quarterback. And it'll be his teammate DeMerchant on the play action. They look to the left, and that play well defended by Team South. With the coverage was Culver Weir.
Yeah, good coverage there by Weir. Really no opportunity for Mack. Even if he would have squeezed that ball, it would have been a minimal game.
Second and long.
Might see a little bit more razzle-dazzle action here. Midfield, second and long.
Chambers drops back, feels the pressure, steps up in the pocket, picks up a block, buys some time, goes across his body, and just couldn't get a good spiral on it. He did have Gabe Hebert open, but couldn't quite get it there. There is a flag on the play, and initial call looks like it's going to be against the offense.
Yeah, I believe this is going to be a holding call against the offense, and the South defense defended that really well. All the defenders is dropping off in their zones, and a receiver didn't flash open until later, once the quarterback had scrambled and had to throw across his body.
Team North will be 3rd and 10.
So the holding call is going to be declined. That'll put the North at 3rd and 10 at their own 48.
And again, it gets really difficult to convert first downs when it's always second and long. The North has to do a better job on first downs, getting positive yards.
Kick is going to go to Chewy Thomas. Picks up a block from Owusu. Thomas down the left side. A bit of a seam along the sidelines, and he steps out at the 45. Chewy Thomas, though, having a great second half here. We're only 5 minutes in.
Oh, Chewy Thomas is fun to watch. Incredibly talented receiver and returner. And he got a really good block right there as well from Carson Brooks. Again, from the Notre Dame Pride, juggernaut of a high school program.
So they'll down it at about the 45.5, just outside the 45 for Team South.
Looks
Picard
like
out of the huddle.
Looks like Picard might be playing the whole third quarter.
And I would imagine we'd see Crew Hershey come in for the fourth. That would follow what they did in the first. Ball's on the ground. And it looks like South jumps back on top of it.
And that's just another play, so a little toss play. But if you haven't really repped that much at practice, it can be difficult to execute in a game when you have a lot of pressure. And again, that's just something during the season you take for granted. It's just easy toss right there because the quarterback and running back have that mesh down pat. But in an all-star game, they haven't necessarily repped that very much at all. South lucky to avoid the first fumble or interception turnover.
High snap, brought in by Picard. Ball is up. It was a jump ball. There was about 2 players in there for Team South, and I think they were a bit lucky to come down with that one.
Yeah, it was not a well-thrown ball. It kind of hung up there, a bit of a duck.
Oh, late flag here as well.
Likely an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
This could be big. And they're motioning, at least Hunter Boltzma's motioning that it's going to be against Team North.
This looks like it's going to extend the drive for South.
Didn't see anything happen there.
Likely words is my guess, because you're right. We couldn't see anything from here. And of course, we're not going to hear anything from where we're at, but likely something was said that was objectionable.
So a gift for Team South. North had the stop they needed. It's a hot day out as well, and you know these players they've been trying out for a while. Sometimes indoors, sometimes outdoors. Matthew Waslansky was quoted in the Strathmore Times as saying their first day was pretty bad because it was Friday in Calgary and it was a snowstorm. They've had to play in slush and it was super wet. Not really fun to do stuff. That was about a month ago, so these guys have been out on the field for a while, but in Alberta, we haven't seen many days quite like this, Chad, where it's this sunny.
No, from snowstorms to sunburns all within the same month, and that is football in Canada. That's the way it goes. You got to be ready for anything. And the North does a good job there on first down, limiting the gain to about 2.5 yards. So look for a passing situation here from Team South.
South slowly marching the ball up the field. Picard gets the snap, looks left. Pass out to Doyle, a little bit of space, lunging for the first down marker, and he's down at the 40. Probably going to be 3rd and inches.
Yeah, it looks like he's just short, but love the way Doyle gets his pad level low, and he's trying to churn out those hard yards after contact. He comes up just short, but an excellent effort there by the wide receiver.
So it'll be 3rd and about 3/4 of a yard. Rob McNabb is going to send in the heavy guys. Seen this a few times today. Every time they've won quarterback sneak up the middle. Given last time it was Crew Hirschen at quarterback.
I'd say look for the quarterback sneak again with just inches to go.
Picard under center. And that's going to be tight. They only needed about 3/4 of a yard, and I'm not sure he got there.
Oh, we might need a measurement here.
As always, both teams motioning in their favor. Where they have it spotted, that looks short.
Short. Tremendous surge by Green. Stout in the interior.
They're kind of looking down for the yardsticks, and they are calling for a measurement. I always wonder, you see it more on 2nd down than 3rd down, but you always wonder when the defense starts selling out for that quarterback sneak if one time you're going to drop back and throw it deep.
Yeah, that's honestly been the victim of that a time or two. I think we've pulled it off once or twice ourselves. But you're right, especially when you're in and around midfield here, just in positive territory.
That's going to be short.
And you know what? You're a genius if it works.
Yeah.
You're a dunce if it doesn't. So.
It's easier to call from the booth than from the sideline.
Oh, yeah. I feel way more confident up here calling something like that than down on the sidelines. But, that's a play that we've seen South execute. And twice now, though, the North has had big stops. And that is huge. Keeps Team North in the game.
Keeps the game within 1 score. It's a 13-7 lead for Team South. Roy Tanwani at quarterback. Looks left, fires it left. And finding a little bit of space across the 40. Aaron DeMerchant does a good job just to keep the ball there. South was ball hunting.
Yeah, and I thought could have been perhaps a horse collar tackle there if DeMerchant had gone down, but a lot of strength in through the core, and he shakes off that tackle for positive yards. DeMerchant, I think, one of the more underrated offensive players from the Metro Edmonton region. He was 2nd in the Division I car conference in rushing, and a lot of games he really carried the load for Austin O'Brien. Got them a provincial berth.
2nd and 7. Feel like Team North needs something on offense, and they're not even going to get the playoff here. It's a procedure call.
Yeah, it looked like 64 might have moved early there. Logan Karenko from Cold Lake, who I'm told his family, bit of local legends. Yeah, his family are the pierogi kings. They're pierogi royalty in Cold Lake, and I'm told that Logan makes his baba proud by making pierogis from scratch in the off season.
So we're not talking about eating the pierogies, because I'm the pierogi king in terms of eating pierogies. He's the pierogi king in making pierogies.
Making pierogies, but you know, he's an offensive lineman. I'm sure he could eat some too. Wouldn't surprise me.
That's awesome. Big fan of pierogies. Tanwani fakes the handoff, looks right, sheds off a tackle. What a move by Tanwani. Looking deep, he's going to go short, and it is intercepted.
Looks like the ball got tipped, ends up in the hands of number 24 in red. Odom Wingy from the Notre Dame Pride.
A big play for Team South.
You know, and finally we have a turnover. I'm surprised games like this, and again, I don't have the official stats with me, but often we see more fumbles and interceptions in these all-star games. So first turnover, I believe, that wasn't on down. So opportunistic play from the South defense.
So it will be Crew Hershey coming in at quarterback for Team South. Hand off up the middle. They've done that so well today. Piscanieri gets brought down. A good gain of about 7 or 8 on first down, though.
Yeah, and they're just making that look easy, following that big offensive line. They're starting to wear down the defensive line of the North. And Rudeski a little bit flat-footed there on contact, and credit to the running back for churning out a couple more yards. I like what I see from Piscanieri.
Team South.
Another handoff. Piscanieri tries to spin away, but gets brought down.
42, Caden Eady making another big play in the backfield.
He's been maybe that best player on that side of the ball today for Team Green.
Yeah, I think he has. He's making plays in the backfield. You know, he had that one, you know, sort of unfortunate call on the horse collar, but he's been a difference maker for the North defense. Just as he was a difference maker for St. Joe Celtics in their provincial run.
Record for longest field goal is by Hugh O'Neill. If I'm correct, that's the punter for the Edmonton Elks right now. That was 42 yards away. That try would have been from 46. And I don't know if you watch much CFL, but Hugh O'Neill has a pretty good leg. So
yeah.
Team South has to punt it away.
I was going to say that shouldn't be any surprise that Hugh O'Neill has the record here. And what's nice looking at some of these all-time records here is you see a number of guys who've gone on to professional careers. You know, it's awesome for these kids to go to university or junior football, but then seeing some of these boys turn into young men in the CFL ranks is absolutely outstanding, and that's the dream.
Tanwani. See if he wants to use his legs. He's still looking deep. Goes deep and just out of the reach of Ethan Mackey, who found his way behind the defense.
Yeah, I thought Tanwani was going to pull that down, but he launched a beautiful pass. And Mackey just got himself turned around a little bit. He got behind the defender, but he just couldn't go up and high point that. Maybe his jump was just a little bit off as he gets turned around. And that's a near miss for Team North. I've seen Mackey play quite a few games. Normally he pulls that one in. He's made some highlight reel catches over the last year.
Would have been a gain of at least 36 in the air, and then whatever they could muster up after that. Handoff. South was playing the pass, and they're going to make the tackle anyways. A full team tackle as DeMerchant can't keep the play alive long enough. So it'll be a third and four rather.
DeMerchant made a nice cut, but instead of then just lowering the pad level on contact, he tried to make one more cut, and this defense is too fast for that. I mean, Red rallied to the ball there, led by number 12, Adam Kuzinski from Our Lady of the Rockies Grizzlies.
3rd and about 2.5. Wouldn't expect to see any trickeration on this play.
Yeah, it might, you know, this is the time of the game to do it, but they're probably backed up a little bit too far in their own 25 to pull it off.
Kettle with a spiraling punt that bounces at the 50. Thomas picks it up off the ground and brings it up to the 45.
That Chewy Thomas is deceptively fast as well because he's such a long strider. He may not look like he's moving all that fast until you see him pull away from other players and outrun some of the angles.
15-yard return for Thomas. I believe that makes for only a net difference of 19 yards on the punt. 37 seconds left as the clock starts running again here late in the 3rd quarter from ME Global Athletic Park here in Lacombe. First neutral site game in the Senior Bowl these two teams have played. Handoff. No, it's a fake. Going to the right. It is Chewy Thomas. One cut, another cut. Down across the 35. And it takes a few North players to bring him down.
But now he's showing everybody what he's capable of with a couple of the jukes and the nice little cuts, fancy footwork there to break tackles, get himself a first down. Nice little jump cut there. You know, I like that play that the South has run a few times, just a little play action with a false pull with the guard, just try to get the linebackers going in motion, opens up an athletic quarterback bootlegging off that edge. Been successful all day.
We'll snap it from the 34. Hershey hands it off. A cut to the inside and back outside. Isaac Owusu with another strong first down run. Picks up about 4 yards.
Yeah, and Team North blitzing again, and Owusu able to pick up positive yards. We've seen that happen before, so credit to the offensive line again and to the running back for seeing a little bit of daylight and exploding downhill. There's a shoestring tackle there, I think, by Big 88 on defense, right? That's Joha Ajabe from the Harry Ainley Titans, provincial champions.
So they'll flip field as we go to the 4th quarter. It'll be a 2nd and about 6. Team South with the lead heading into the last 12 minutes, 13-7. Chad, this event, it's been going on for a while now. There didn't used to be the luxury of game film when they started this event. So I think the initial idea of this event was to get players scouted. Now they have game film. They have Huddle where they can upload the game film, and scouts are all over Huddle as well. So how has this event kind of changed as the years have gone on?
Well, I feel like now it's more of a prestige event, right? Where, and again, I give credit to Football Alberta for making this something that these players want to take part in. They want to represent their schools in a battle of Alberta and have come away with bragging rights. But you're right, you know, most of these players have signed on already and gone to tryouts already for universities and junior football, so not necessarily about being scouted, although for some of these players maybe they haven't signed yet and it's that one last opportunity to turn some heads of scouts.
So Aaron Massico made the tackle. It was only a gain of about 2. Was wondering if the flag was on the tackle, but it comes a bit earlier. It'll be a face mask on Team South. And they're talking things over with Team North right now.
So I believe by accepting the penalty, it goes back. And with a UR, this could be a loss of down. We'll have to see about this. But another costly penalty for Team South regardless.
They've had a kicker in Jackson Shorten who hasn't really had to test his range quite yet, but he made a 25-yard field goal or so that was good from probably 35-40. So they're definitely within his field goal range, I would believe, but this face mask is going to take him all the way back to the 46, and not many kickers across the world are making this one. And they are keeping it at 2nd down right now, and refs are motioning for 3rd, so it will be a loss of down as well.
You know, unless they can recall the Hugh O'Neill to come out here, I think they're gonna punt and not go for the field goal. But costly, takes them out of scoring range, and here we are into the 4th quarter now, where it feels like the South has outplayed the North, but we have a 1-score game. A converted touchdown by the North gives them the lead.
Penalty took them about 20 yards back from the spot of the ball. Would have been about a 36-yard attempt. So punt bounces inside the 10. Picking it up is Duncan Critch, takes it down across around the 25, where Team North will start their offense with Anthony Chambers in at quarterback.
And the North has some game breakers on this offense. Like, it's not just Kettle, although Kettle's definitely been the go-to guy here this afternoon and put up the big plays. But like we said, we saw Critch play in that Tier 2 provincial final, and he put up over 200 yards rushing himself. You know, the trio of receivers from St. Albert have all put up big numbers. I believe Mackey was second and Max Taylor first in the CAR conference in receiving yards and catches. So they got some guys that can make plays.
Hard count, lots of movement, flags fly out, and not sure if that was a procedure or a free play, but the handoff goes nowhere. We'll check the flags.
Yeah, once before I thought this was going to be offside on the defense because we saw some movement and they let the play go on, but the refs, yeah, I think they're going to call the offside on red.
If so, that would make it a 1st and 5. So there's a lot of players trying out for these teams here, Chad. Around 144 made final selections for Team South, around 120 final selections for Team North. And when guys make the team, they got to be pretty pumped up. Carter Church was quoted in the Cochrane Now as saying, "When I opened up my phone to see that I made the team, I was jumping up and down." He says he didn't expect it, and that he didn't play much this regular season on the Cobras due to injuries. So it must be great for a lot of players like that who have been hurt, but are overall very talented seniors to come and get an opportunity to play on a day like today.
Oh, for sure, most definitely. Like I said, there's some prestige in making this team, and definitely will bolster the confidence of these young men heading into post-secondary football. I know back in 2019, we had Nathan Brake from Sturgeon make this team as a receiver, and it's, you know, it was only our 2nd year of existence, so, or 1st year rather, so the only Sturgeon Spirit to ever make it, and he was incredibly happy, and it really helped bolster his career on with the Edmonton Wildcats.
Chambers pulled it down and got a pickup of about 10 or 15. Good gain on 1st and 5 for Team North. They need something under 11 minutes to play, down by 6. Handoff up the middle, a cutback. It'll be near the 1st down, sticks. As Maxwell Daw gets his first touch in a while.
Yeah, sort of the running back we haven't talked about yet, showing what he can do. I think he's out of Beaumont, isn't he, Daw?
Elijah
the Beaumont Bandits.
Gets the ball to the 47-yard line.
Great cut, and I know he put up some really big numbers in the season for Beaumont in the Metro Edmonton region.
It'll be a 2nd and less than a yard. And they're lining up out of shotgun. They'll pull it back. Chambers over the middle finds Kettle across the 50. And why sneak it up the middle? You can pick up 15 on the pass.
Well, and that's what we're talking about, right, though, on 2nd down, doing something other than just a dive or a lead, but get outside that pocket, make something happen. So I like that play call. Again, you're a genius if it works, you know. If it's 3rd down and they get sacked, not so much, but that's a real good play call there by Coach Sam Johnson.
So they move into Team South territory. Just over 9 minutes to play here. Gets to that part of the game where clock management kind of starts becoming a thought. Chambers looks left. Oh, it's batted down hard. That was a volleyball spike there from Favor Obiwi.
Yeah, coming in off the edge and smart. You're always taught as a blitzer or edge rusher, if you can't get there, get your hands up, take away the passing window and those throwing lanes of the quarterbacks. That's exactly what he did. Just got to give a little bit of credit to some of these linemen out here, though. I see right tackle Bedard from Austin O'Brien. So we got a few AOB Crusaders on this offense, and notice Bedard doing an exceptional job out there at right tackle because he's got his work cut out for him with these edge blitzers and these big DNs here for the South.
Hard count again. Nobody jumps, and it'll be a handoff up the middle. Goes nowhere again. Kale Strom picks up the tackle for loss.
Oh, what penetration. Penetration kills plays. Living in the backfield. Huge stop, going to be a punting situation. And 58 has got to be a little bit careful there. Landon Madigan from Sal. Again, a little bit of rough play after the whistle, and I know both benches have been warned already.
I believe he got mixed into things earlier a little bit as well. I believe he's been flagged once already today. And Kettle's going to have to punt it away from the 48. Seen him get some good punts off today. One bounced inside the 10, then kicked all the way back out to the 15, and this looks like it might be another good one. Down to the 15. It's going to be a no yards in the 15-yard variety. And I think they're going to beat that on the return as Chewy Thomas takes it up around the 35.
Yeah, that Chewy Thomas sure is a smooth athlete.
Returning the punt from
fields the ball clean. Again, he's got that nice little jump cut, and then he's a long strider, so he picks up acceleration incredibly fast. You know, he's got to be a candidate for player of the game today. He's been outstanding, both as a receiver and a returner.
It's that type of guy you feel like no matter what position he played, he'd be pretty good.
Oh, I'm sure you could put him at safety or corner or even an outside backer spot, you know, and he's just going to be a football player. That's what he looks like to me.
I feel like as Canadian football has kind of been progressing and coaches have been getting smarter and smarter, a lot of those great athletes are starting to find their way onto the wide receiver spot a little more, where they just get those quick plays, get the ball in their hands, and give them some field.
Yeah, that's true. And again, the rule changes coming in this year to move the hash marks. We're going to see even more of that field side wide receiver, the traditional Z position on the offense. We'll see even more of that in the Canadian game.
Hershey out to the right. Guess who? It's Chewy Thomas. Jukes and jives behind the line of scrimmage, and that's a pretty tough 3.5 yards to pick up.
Oh, he's a little slow to get up after showing some shake and bake, cutting right back in what I was called the lion's den when those receivers cut back into where the big bodies are. And that Dustin Jonker, man, he's a lion all right in there. He put a big boom on him.
2nd and 7 now for Team South.
Well, if I shake and bake like that, I'm probably not getting up at all, Chad.
No, that's true. But you might have gone down on the initial contact anyway. So
I would have been down before the ball was in my hands.
I'd probably pull a hamstring just trying it.
Hershey looking left. Oh, to Chewy Thomas. Oh, my goodness. Fights off 2 defenders. Did he make the catch?
They're giving it to him.
Did.
What can't this guy do? Chewy Thomas coming up huge.
Just inside the 53-yard line.
But we got to give credit on that throw too. Fitting it in a tight window out to the field, like that's a big throw for, you know, for people that have never thrown the ball on a Canadian field. That's not easy to throw it out to the wide part of the field like that.
In the middle of 2 defenders, you feel like if that throw was 2 feet off, it might have been a pick six the other way.
Yeah, that was dangerous. You know, with a 6-point lead, not sure I call that again, to be honest, but give quarterback and receiver both credit.
What a play. He'll hand it off and stopped short, I believe, is Owusu. So an opportunity now for this Team North defense to pick up a stop with half the time expired here in the 4th quarter.
And that's Edie really setting the edge there to the field, to that wide part there. Edie set that edge, forced the play back inside, and then Edie even gets in on the tackle. So I've been incredibly impressed with that young man today.
Ball now on their own 54-yard line.
Big play. Feel like Team North needs a stop soon. Down by 6, Hershey. Looking left. Has space to run it. He pulls it down. Race for the first down marker. And he'll be stopped about 3 or 4 yards short. So this is going to be a decision here for head coach Rob McNabb. You're in plus territory. Do you go for it?
Yeah, he's short there because Morris closed that gap in a hurry. Morris was just closing down the distance to the sideline, but you know, keep the offense out there. If nothing else, give a hard count or something. See if you can get the freebie here.
And it looks like they're going to bring on the punt unit.
Hey, that guy's won several provincial championships. I have not, so we'll go with what he says. But
well, and their defense has only let up 7 points today as well.
That's true. I was just thinking it'd be a time to maybe draw the defense off sides, take a freebie, because at this part of the field, you know, what does it matter if you get backed up if you got to take the time count violation?
They will punt it away. That was Hershey with the leg. He's got an arm and a leg. Punts it across the 15, and the return goes nowhere. What special teams for the team in red?
Well,
the North is going to need their best drive of the day if they want to snatch victory out of the jaws of defeat here with 5:26 left. There's more than enough time to get a good drive down the field, but they need to get first downs, and they need to flip the field, so meaning they can't get backed up and punt from here, otherwise South's going to get the ball in scoring position, and that'll be about all she goes if they're able to score more points here.
Sounds like there's a penalty on the play as well, and it's a face mask against Team South, so some help early on here for Team North, and Roy Tanwani.
Move the ball up 15 yards. Team North will begin play 1st and 10.
They need 76 yards to score.
A lot easier to start from the 34 than backed up inside your own 20. Look for Tanwani to pull the ball down here and pick up some yards himself.
Pitch to Kettle. Behind the line of scrimmage, and he's going nowhere.
Oh, the South just strung that out. They played that beautifully on defense, led by number 24 again, Odom Wingy, who's had a big game himself.
This isn't good here. We were watching him as he left to the locker room in the first half, and Kettle was limping off a little bit, walking gingerly, and now he's down in discomfort on the field.
Yeah, he looks to be in a fair amount of pain, and again, we don't like to speculate about anything, but it does not look good for Kettle here.
He's been kind of pointing at his leg.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to make a special
and he's already seen teammate Cade Lebrecq go out in the first half, injuring what looks to be his throwing arm. And you know, Coach Morris at the U of A doesn't like seeing this either. Those are two of his prized recruits from this off season. I believe he has, what, 5 or 6 St. Joe's Celtics players?
6 St. Joe Celtics players, I believe, headed off to U of A next year, and a few of them quite excellent.
Yeah, Duncan Critch at running back also joining his quarterback and receiver.
Matthew Luden will be headed off to the U of A, big offensive lineman.
Yeah, and Luden, again, Coach Pritchard says Luden might have been the best O-lineman in the entire province, and that guy knows a thing or two about good linemen. It's like a factory up there, you know, they pump them out.
He was featured on a NFL on CTV broadcast early on in the year, I believe the first player to be featured, and he was highlighted for his good technique on an NFL Sunday broadcast on CTV.
Yeah, he's a talent, that's for sure. Remelard's no slouch either in there on O-line. He's another big recruit.
Luden standing at right guard right now. Wouldn't be surprised to see them run the ball behind him at some point this drive. Haven't seen Tanwani use his legs so much. 2nd and 14. We've seen him convert a few like this earlier on in the season. Tanwani kicks to the left, and he overthrows Max Taylor. And they're going to have to bring out the punt unit as we turn it to 3rd and long.
Well, it's a good thing they got that 15-yard penalty to move them up, so because they didn't convert any first downs, they have to punt the ball 2 and out.
Feels like it's been a while since we've watched any football. I think the last for me would have been the Super Bowl. Very disappointing for me, by the way, as a Bengals fan. But if you don't remember much about the Canadian game, if you're tuning in for the first time in like a half a year, 4:54 is a ton of time still, Chad.
Oh yeah, we can see, especially in that final 3 minutes, you know, you can see possession, 3 or 4 different possessions. So there's more than enough time, but the pressure's on the defense here to hold the South.
There's a flag on the play, nearly blocking it for Team South was Odom Wing. He's had a great second half, and Thomas gets crushed around midfield. And he'll get up all good. We'll check this flag here. This could actually, based on the timing of the flag, could be on contacting the kicker. Let's see.
Oh, they're calling offside. They jumped. Clearly they had a call, a punt block call, and they just got a little over eager and were quick to jump.
So I believe accepting the call, they'd replay the down at 3rd and 9. Otherwise, Team South would get the ball around midfield.
Yeah, they might want to think about punting again, try to get the ball a little bit deeper. You know, they might want to think about kicking it away from Chewy Thomas as well. Now, I see Grant there put a big hit on him, but I think it's a little late in the game to be thinking about softening him up because he's done his damage.
So long discussion here with Team Green. So coaches have to learn about so many new players in games like this, Chad. Are they already aware of what they have on their roster, or does that do they learn kind of as the practices, games, tryouts go along?
I think they learn as the tryouts go along, and you know, by the time they get to the game, they got a pretty good idea. But you know, like so many of these players played multiple positions in high school. You know, like we said, like a kid like Rudneski playing linebacker here. Well, he was a tremendous running back. You know, like he gave us Fitz game planning for him as a running back. So, and that's why special teams could be really dangerous and really interesting, because you have all these athletes on the field.
They're going to kick it to Chewy Thomas again. Mishandles it. Ball's on the ground, and Thomas does a good job just to pick it up. Big tackle made there. Looks like it was Mason Lane on coverage for Team North.
So that was Ethan Mackey in there to punt since Kettle went out with the injury. So I know Mackey punted for the Belrose Bulldogs, but you see that ball, a little bit of a different release, right? Didn't have much spiral, didn't have much spin on that ball at all, which made it really hard to navigate the return there for Chewy Thomas.
Big drive, 4.5 minutes left. Team South going to look to chew up some clock with Crew, Hershey, and a quarterback. In the backfield, looks like it's a Owusu. And they'll hand it off to Owusu. Up across the 50, and a good tackle there early in the play coming from Andrew Grant.
Yeah, led his conference, led the CAR conference in tackles this year. He's just a tackling machine for Austin O'Brien.
Looks like Alex Singleton a little bit, just get in the hole, plug things up, make the tackle. It's not flashy, but he gets the job done.
Yeah, very, very effective linebacker. Love the way he didn't overshoot. A lot of inexperienced linebackers would have overcommitted and run upfield on that play. He just sort of hugged that line of scrimmage, stayed square, and made the form tackle.
Hershey fakes it to the right. Might be a bit of a broken play here. Hershey breaks away and grabbing a hold of the jersey and hauling Hershey down. Was Brandon Carroll.
Yeah, that's the other lineman from the St. Joe's team that we haven't talked about yet, but tremendous player in his own rights. You know, I heard he had a little bit of injuries this last season and maybe gets overshadowed by Remillard and Luden, but on most teams, that is the star lineman right there.
Not sure if there might have been a timeout called on the play.
Yeah, before the 3-minute warning, right? Stopping that clock. So I think a good use of timeouts here. And, you know, at that spot on the field where don't be surprised if you see Team North go full out for the block, because with a 6-point lead, unlikely the South will go for a fake at this point.
Just got to be careful here if you're North. It's only a 3rd and about 7, so just can't see that orange flag fly.
Yeah, and they need field position here. They need a big return.
2 returners back. It's Critch and Titan Johansson. It'll go to Critch. Gets under it and sheds a tackle, sheds another one. Able to pick up about 5 on the return, down to the 30.
Really good downfield coverage there. So North didn't go for the block, but they went to set up the return. But Ogbewiwi from Notre Dame Pride was the first man downfield to force Critch back, so he couldn't get the edge for the sidelines.
Just over 3 minutes left. Looks like Anthony Chambers will lead the offense for what could be Team North's last drive.
Well, in the first half, you know, with 1:20, they got the ball down by 6 and somehow got the lead to go into half.
Very similar half.
Yeah, we'll see if they can pull it out again.
Chambers has time, goes up the middle, pulls it down, and gets tackled to the 35. It'll be a 2nd and 4.
I thought he was looking for Max Taylor deep. We see Kettle back in the game. But I thought he was looking for Taylor deep and just didn't pull the trigger, so pulled it down, got positive yards. And playbook's open with 2nd and 4, but they need a first down conversion here.
Big play. 3-minute warning. Lots of time left, but feel a sense of urgency here for Anthony Chambers and Team North. Chambers drops back, has 2 receivers to the right. He goes over to Max Taylor, stretching for the first down marker, and he's got it across the 40, at the 41-yard line.
Yeah, savvy play there by Taylor to stretch the ball out and get out of bounds, making sure he moves the sticks, making sure the clock stops. So we saw a lot of that from his senior season. You know, in grade 10, he got hurt, had an upper body injury, missed most of the season. So again, that COVID year off, right, was really tough on a player like that. It had been a long time since he played football, but he ends up leading his conference in receiving yards.
Chambers over the middle and couldn't quite reel in, was Raiden Deschesneaux, and it's going to be a 2nd and 10.
That one was actually Ty Bates there, number 6 from Paul Kane. I think he switched his jersey, wearing number 6 like he wore in the season instead of 88, I think is what he was scheduled to wear, or number 80 he was scheduled to wear.
So an ever important 2nd down and 10. 2:34. You wonder if we're in 3-down territory here for Team North. Chambers with 2 backs. They'll kick out to either side. Chambers looking deep. And it is. Is that picked off? What a play.
They're saying interception. Tremendous coverage there.
Carson Brooks with the pick.
And you know what? Taylor was bracketed there. He had 2 defensive backs on him. And great play there by Brooks to actually come up with the ball. He looked like a receiver on that play, didn't he, coming down with it?
A little bit, yeah. Got both arms under the ball, and he's a little shaken up after the play. Definitely paid the price on that one. Now, not a bad time to take a risk though, right, Chad? Because if you get an incompletion, you're probably punting it around the same field position anyways.
Yeah, no, you're right. So I guess you could look at this with sort of the net average of punts. That about works out from where the ball is now.
And Kettle was back into the game as well. Not sure if he would have been punting, but
true.
Not a bad risk to take either way. I doubt they would have went forward on 3rd and 10 there.
Yeah, not with this amount of time left on the clock. Like we said, in the Canadian game, you know, the last 3 minutes take a long time to play with the clock stoppages. So they probably would have been punting there had they not converted. So in essence, that's, you know, like a punt, but anytime there's a turnover like that, it gives momentum to the other side. So look for for the South to sense a bit of a spark and try to close this game out. Brooks looks no worse for the wear getting up after that interception.
Team South with the ball, couple first downs, and you might ice this game.
After that timeout, Team South 1st and 10 at their own 34-yard
Hershey at quarterback. Behind him is Piscanieri. Wouldn't be surprised if they start rotating running backs a little bit on this drive as well. They've had a few play very strong today. They're going to hand it off. No surprise there, and Team Green not caught off guard at all. They were right there.
Yeah, that was basically a run blitz. Those 2 linebackers were coming downhill.
Looked like Dustin Bomer made first contact.
Yeah, Bomer in there, and then Rudeski coming in for the cleanup. They were coming hard.
So a 2nd and 11.
So look for Team South here to take the full 20 seconds off the time clock before they put this ball in play, trying to kill as much of the clock as possible.
Interesting play call. Do they put the ball on the ground and keep the clock running, or do they go to the air? Looked like an option play. Hershey to the outside, dragged down across the 37.
Yeah, that looked like a bit of a broken play. We had a little bit of jet motion by the slot back with some of that sort of inside run, inside zone look with the running back. So I'm not sure if that was supposed to be one of those little hide routes where the receiver comes out the other side. Either way, it looked like a broken play, and South just fortunate they didn't take a big loss on that as Hershey picks up a few positive yards.
That was Dustin Bomer in on the tackle once again. He was all over it on that drive on defense. Team South going to run the clock down again. Might just spend a timeout here once it hits a second.
Yeah, they are taking the time down as much as they can. I think they will take the timeout.
I feel like we were past the 20 seconds there.
I'm glad you said that, because when I'm down there, I say the same thing. Say they getting 40 seconds to get this off, or 20.
So they do stop it with 1:31 remaining. Actually, they will just take the offside there, it looks like. Or sorry, the procedure.
Yeah, taking the time count violation so they can reserve. I believe they got one timeout left. But this is eerily similar to the first half now, isn't it, Connor? I mean, you know, we got a minute and a half left on the clock. It looks like North should get the ball around midfield.
Yeah, Team South controlling the game, but just not putting it away. They've been missing that one play as Hershey gets the punt off. It looks like Duncan Critch settles under it and picks it up. Will get the no yards. Looks like he has a beat with about a 6 or 7 yard return anyways.
So, again, they're about 15 yards back of where they started in the first half with about the same amount of time left on the clock. And we saw Kettle work some magic to get in the end zone. So, will there be a hero for the North in the final minute and 20 seconds, or will the South defense lead them to victory in this Battle of Alberta?
Tanwani in at quarterback. And an ever important drive here. Flag still hasn't been picked up, so Team North leaves the huddle, but
Kettle a little bit late getting on the field here.
Wouldn't have the play call quite yet either, so refs though still huddled up. Not sure if there's some confusion on the penalty. Oh, this is interesting. They're walking the ball forward more.
So they're giving them that 5-yard penalty for no yards. So again, we got the trio of St. Albert receivers out to the field, and we got Kettle to the short side to the boundary at slot.
Looks like he bear as well. Tanwani with the snap. Looks left, gets it out quickly, and out of the reach of Ty Bates. And there's a player down. I had my eye down on the roster. Looks like there was some pushing and shoving after. No flags.
Getting a little bit violent in the trenches. Game's on the line.
A minute 17 left now. 3 down territory for Team North.
Yeah, they are definitely in 3 down territory. This under a minute 20 left on the clock. And that changes the play calling too. You got 2 downs to get 10 yards right here, and they still got enough time on the clock to get it down the field to score.
Empty backfield. Tanwani quickly over the middle and can't find anybody. Looked like Max Taylor was in the area.
Yeah, those drag routes, these sort of mesh concepts and drag routes, they're really all about timing and feel, and you could tell they just didn't have that down there. It looked like Roy might have thrown that off his back foot a little bit and behind the receiver Taylor.
Got to pick up 10 yards here. They need just past the 34. Tanwani to the outside, has a man, spins away from a tackle, needs another yard, and they get there.
Oh.
Ethan Hebert with a second effort And I think they're going to pick up the first down.
Hebert breaks tackles to give them an opportunity for this first. Are they going to call for a measurement here?
And this is interesting. You never know when those six can move that extra inch. It looks to me like he has it, but we're also at a bit of a bad vantage point here.
Yeah, we're looking at it from a slight angle here, so it helps if we're right sort of level with the football. But either way, this is going to be close. And what's the cliche? Football's a game of inches. Minute 6 on the clock. This is coming down to it.
Well, he needed about the 33.5.
Whether he gets this or not, give Hebert credit for making that catch, breaking tackles, doing his best to lunge for the first.
Oh, this is going to be tight, and by about the length of a football, they do get it.
Team North stays alive. Real life drama with sports, hey? You can't script this stuff. Coming down to the wire again. I think the South has, I wouldn't say vastly outplayed the North, but definitely the South has looked like the stronger team for the majority of this football game, yet the North is doing enough to stick around and give themselves an opportunity to win this football game.
Bending but not breaking. Maybe some revenge on the mind of head coach Vince Oreo, who's lost a lot of bowls, Alberta bowls straight, to head coach Rob McNabb. Fresh set of downs, just over a minute left on the clock. Tanwani feeling pressure over the middle, and good defense there.
Yeah, if you're the North coaches, you're telling Roy, don't force that on first down, right? There's still more than enough time. Do not force it on first down. If it's not there, pull it down, use your legs, get positive yards, because an interception would seal the deal.
Whistles for
on the 32-yard line.
The play could get off. And I think they're just moving the spot of the ball up about a half a yard. 59.2 left to play. Team North has 2 downs to get 10 yards. Tanwani steps up in the pocket, avoids contact. Now he gets to use the legs up across the 30 and tackled at the 25.
And that's what Tanwani's capable of, right? Pulling it down and getting big chunks of yards. But he took a big hit there. Was that hard to see up here? Was that number 12?
Adam Kuzinski with the tackle.
Or number 10, right?
They'll say Kaczynski with the tackle.
Yeah, Kaczynski from Our Lady of the Rockies. That's a couple of big plays he's made today.
3rd down and 3 yards to go.
3rd and 3. Tanwani to the sideline, picks up the play call.
Timeout looks like it's been taken.
This will be about it. You don't get it, and you're seconds away from knees.
Yeah, you're right. They'll be able to kneel this out for Team South if the defense can come up with a big stop on this 3rd and about 3 situation. So if you're Team North, who do you go to here? 3rd and 3, game on the line.
I think you got to boot Tanwani out right or something, right?
Yeah,
look
give
for
him
the legs, look for the pass.
I love that. Give him an option to run or throw, right? If the pass isn't there, give him an option to run. I just think the South is be too focused on Kettle here. Then again, we've seen that all year, and Kettle still makes the play.
This is the game. Tanwani floats it up, and it's caught. Ethan Mackey still on his feet down across the 15. Team North stays alive.
Well, it wasn't really a thing of beauty, was it? I guess unless you're on Team North, because they get the first down. What a time for Mackey to come up with his first reception of the game. Clutch first down by Mackey.
No huddle. Clock is running. 40 seconds left to play. Tanwani looks left, goes right, has some field. Eyes still downfield. He's got to get it out. There's a flag near the end zone and a one-handed grab by Max Taylor. He's in.
Max Taylor, money, one-handed catch. Flag is down. I think this is going to be on the defense, but we got to wait and see.
What a catch from Max Taylor. As it stands, the game's tied.
That's a SportsCenter highlight reel catch by Taylor, if it stands.
Big call. Head official Duncan Nassy. It's against the defense.
It's going to stand. It's going to stand. We got a tie game. Okay, And I wasn't going to say anything on air, but I was told before we went on, Max Taylor guaranteed a touchdown today.
Whoa.
He guaranteed it.
Here we go. Those have been hard to come by today, too.
Oh, man. Yeah, Bulldogs general manager Daryl Moraz came up to me before we went on air, and he said, I told Max I wanted to call one more touchdown from him, and Max guaranteed me it would happen. So, way to back it up, Max Taylor. What an exciting game. Battle of Alberta.
Huge kick, make or miss. This game's not over. To Merchant. Looking to put Team North up by 1. We have had a tie before. It was all the way back in 2001. It's been 20 years since then. 21.
Let's not have a tie this year. Anything but a tie.
And ref is saying something. I don't know what it is. So here we go. To Merchant. Bad hold, and it is blocked.
Tie game with 30 seconds left. The drama just doesn't end here, does it?
Was that Jackson Vandenberg getting his hands in there?
You know,
There's
Vandenberg.
multiple players in the area.
Multiple players in there. We'll see on the replay if we can see who in fact got their hand on that. Yeah, I think right off the edge it looked like. Is that number 20?
That would be Vandenberg.
15-yard face masking penalty on the touchdown will be applied.
Wow, Jackson Vandenberg from the St. Francis Browns.
Big penalty here on the touchdown. There's a face mask call. So now Team North gets to kick off from the South 50.
Should this game remain tied?
So question, do you try a pooch kick? Do you try a squib kick? Try to recover this with 30 seconds? You risk the chance of giving the South decent field position if you do it, but it gives your offense a chance to get back on the field and end this football game.
You're one bounce away from a single point as well.
That's right.
So lots of options here. That penalty makes this kick infinitely more interesting. I think I heard on PA that we would have overtime.
Good. No ties, I hope. That's whoever wins, I just want someone to win.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, someone needs to come away with that beautiful trophy.
Big kick. Does Vince Oreo have something drawn up? To Merchant. Put some good leg into it as a line drive kick. Fielded. And now down across the 25.
Piscanieri with the return.
Piscanieri gets a good return. I feel like they might have been going for that single point. There was a low line drive kick and you're a bounce away from a single.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they were doing, because the South returners didn't look to be very deep. So, and again, it's hard to gauge the wind from where we are up here, but you know, I think they were just trying to punch that ball between the two returners and hope to get a single point. The greasy Canadian single point, hey? What a way to win a game. But
games always seem to come down to it.
That's right.
At this level. Crew Hershey with 23.9 seconds left. Can they get some last-second magic? They had too many men on the field, so a player had to run off. Play action. Hershey stays alive, scrambling to his right, goes to the right, and he finds Chewy Thomas. 16.6 seconds left. South offense is going to have to hurry to the line of scrimmage.
Who else are you going to find? Chewy Thomas.
And that spot looks a bit behind, too.
Yeah, it does.
Like by a couple yards. You never know when that's going to come into play.
I agree.
And it looks like that timeout that was saved by Rob McNabb by taking the offside earlier pays off.
Sure does. Now's when you need it. Credit to Tyler Morris on that tackle. I mean, if he misses that tackle, 88 stays on his feet, and it could be a Chewy Thomas touchdown celebration right now. So, big tackle there by Morris.
Now, once again, you don't necessarily need a touchdown here. You can get into field goal range, or if you feel good about your punter's leg, you can even punt for the Rouge at the end here.
Yep, you could.
They'll probably need about, I'd imagine, 30 yards or so for all that stuff to come into play. Lots of yardage to pick up with only 16 seconds left. They'll look out to the right to Sirleaf. He's got the sideline fumble, and I think he stepped out of bounds first at the 54 rather.
They're saying Sirleaf did step out. That looked really close, though, and he fumbled that ball. It actually stayed in bounds, but they are saying that right cleat hit the white stripe at about 9 3/4 yards. What'd you say the Hugh O'Neill record was for field goal?
46, I think.
46. Well, we could see an attempt to break it here.
Clock is stopped, so not necessarily the worst thing for it to be called down there. Hershey has been driving the ball. Kicks it out left to Matthew Oslansky. Brought down at the 46. And timeout. Okay, so Rob McNabb had one more in the bag. 5.4 seconds left. Do they have time for 2 plays?
I don't think they do. It's possible, but as a coach right now, I don't think you can call a play thinking you're going to get that second one off.
It is a first down. We're way too far for field goal range here.
And they're not going to be able to punt it. This is where if you've worked on some sort of Hail Mary play, they could go to that. Perhaps a gadget flea flicker that they've been saving. But you gotta realize Team North is gonna be all backed up, at least 4 deep, right?
Could you send a guy on a slant here over the middle, quickly get it there, give yourself up for about 10?
It's possible, but again, with lack of practice time in these situations, I'm not sure how much they would have repped that. Perhaps like a hook and ladder type play. Again, some sort of gadget they may have had in. Yes, here it comes.
It's a trick play. Chewy Thomas, to the right, goes to Hershey at the 40. He's tackled, and guess what? Overtime.
That Chewy Thomas pass is complete.
Wow.
To Hershey.
What a way to bring the Senior Bowl back. Overtime game after a couple-year hiatus due to the pandemic. This is everything we could have asked for and more.
There will be an overtime.
Last game was played in 2019. Team North won their 13th Senior Bowl. Couldn't ask for a better game to bring in really the Canadian football season. CFL hasn't quite gotten going yet.
But preseason starting in, a week?
I think this
week's
Friday.
time? Yeah. So, I guess today's Monday already. So less than a week away from the start of the CFL season. So exciting times. Most of the high schools, at least across the Central and North, have started spring training camps. So it's football time once again.
Ladies and gentlemen, the rules of overtime will be a team will start 1st and 10 at the opposing 35-yard line.
So it sounds like overtime rules are that Canadian or college shootout style. It'll be 1st and 10s from the 35.
And this is where having a good field goal team, not just a good place kicker or field goal kicker, but a good field goal unit, field goal team, could really pay dividends here for the win. Because as we saw in that last one, you got to have the blocking. So, the North was a convert away from the win. We wouldn't be in this situation if it wasn't for that field goal block team by the South.
Ladies and gentlemen,
and we've seen a couple of these snaps and holds look a little bit shaky, a little bit iffy, but this could very well come down to a field goal.
to declare a winner, the procedure to break the tie shall be the prerogative of the governing Football Association, Football Alberta.
Those just sound like confusing rules that I hope we don't get there.
It
was.
Tie-breaking system will be used immediately after the conclusion of the 4th quarter.
It was
Officials will
Jackson
instruct both teams to retire their respective
Vandenberg coming up with that clutch block.
Officials will assemble center field, review the tie-breaking procedures themselves.
Yeah, it was a game-saving
Now
convert
there's
block.
going to be a captain's meeting, which will determine which team will start first on offense.
So it looks like head coaches are out there with the captains to make sure they know exactly what is happening.
We always go into these games, and one of the things on my mind as I drive in is always overtime rules, and then I always forget to ask. every single time, Chad, because you just don't think you're going to get there. But we've seen just a classic gameplay between these two teams. And while the score is 13-13, it feels like we've gotten a good showing on all sides of the ball today.
Yeah, I think we have. I mean, people might look at the score, 13-13, pretty low-scoring game. But you have to remember, with limited preparation time, defenses are often a little bit ahead of the offenses in terms of execution, and we've seen a bit of that today. But both offenses have had some plays, South especially, with some penalties from the South perspective, maybe unfortunate, that have negated some big plays and kept the North in the game. And the North then is opportunistic. So I think it's been just a fantastic football game.
Good facility too. I've personally never been here myself at ME Global Athletic Park.
I've never been up here in this perspective. I know midget league, the spring ball league, we played one game here. I remember the outcome being very forgettable for us, but I remember thinking it was a terrific venue. I wish the outcome of the game had been a little bit different.
Connor Toffin and Chad Hill, head coach of the Sturgeon High School team, on this IC Live Procast. We've seen a lot of players step up today. We've talked a lot about Chewy Thomas. We've talked a lot about Kettle on Team North. Is there anyone that we haven't mentioned yet that you've noticed today?
Yeah, Max Taylor came up huge for Team North to get this game where it is right now. Like I said, I've, full disclosure, known Max since he was just a little guy, about a full foot shorter than me, probably, right? So he must have been, 10 years old at the time, 9 or 10 years old. Hard worker, really good lead by example type guy, and just seeing him mature throughout the years. It's been real nice for me to watch from a bit of afar from the time he was just starting football off in Adam, right? So he came up huge, and he's been that clutch sort of player all year.
He didn't have a ton of catches today, but sometimes that's not what sports is about. Sometimes it's about when you make that play, not how many you make, right?
Exactly.
He came up with that huge one-handed grab.
And on his team, obviously, his quarterback just happens to be my nephew as well. He's looking to him and Mackie all the time, right? And out here, you're surrounded by all-stars, including Kettle, who might be, the best in the province, at least in the North. So Taylor came up at an opportune time for the North to get us to where we are right here.
So Team North with some momentum. We'll start with the ball. Chambers in at quarterback. Starting at a 1st and 10 on the 35. Chambers out left, and it's off the chest of Max Taylor. It'll fall to the ground, incomplete, and it'll be a 2nd and 10.
And that's one Taylor just has to look at. I mean, he made the highlight reel touchdown, but that's just a simple one. He needs to look in and take the 4 or 5 yard gain, because again, it inches you closer to field goal range. You really cannot afford to come away with no points in this overtime style system.
From the 35. And movement everywhere.
The receivers looked way off there for Team North. Should be an offside call.
So it'll go to a 2nd and 15.
And maybe a little bit interesting that it's not Roy Tanwani in at quarterback, right? Provincial champion, Harry Ainley Titans. But
he did lead the game-tying drive as well.
Yeah, he sure did. But, I've been impressed with what I've seen out of Chambers. He's had the opportunity to throw the ball more today than what I saw him in the season with the Austin O'Brien Crusaders, who are pretty ground attack heavy. And he's actually, a much better athlete than what I thought watching in the season as well. He's impressed me today.
Chambers gets flushed out. Goes down the sideline. Is it picked off?
They're going to give it to him.
It was into the hands
42.
of Cale Morgan. Comes up with the stop for Team South. And now they just need points.
Oh, big time interception there.
This game has seen twists and turns and twists and turns.
And coaches cringe every time a quarterback tries to throw back across his body. I realize that the Patty Mahomes of the world make it look easy, but you know, that is not an easy throw to be rolling out to your left as a right-handed quarterback and then trying to contort and twist back across your body for the completion. I would have rather seen him run to try to get some positive yards to bring up a 3rd and manageable. But credit to that South defense, flushing the quarterback out of the pocket to his left, which obviously he's not as comfortable going left. And number 42 coming up with the big play. Cale Morgan giving his team a chance for the win.
Crew Hershey. Can Team South find a hero? Not yet. Owusu stopped behind the line of scrimmage. That's a huge tackle for that Team North D-line. We've seen the ball get around the 35 a few times this game with no points being scored, so this is far from a guarantee.
Oh, it's far from over. And Chaz Walker with the penetration there from the Tier 3 finalist Holy Rosary Raiders. We saw him and game plan for him. Watched quite a bit of film on Holy Rosary this year before we played them, and Chaz Walker jumped out on the line. Both sides of the ball. Tall, rangy, aggressive, plays with a mean streak. He's taken his talents to the University of Saskatchewan next year, but this is a loss right here to have him go out at this stage of the game.
Walker limps off to the sideline.
Ball on the 37-yard line.
2nd and 12. Both sidelines and the crowd get into it. Snap to Hershey. They look left quickly over to Sirleaf. Not a big gain, gets down to about the 33, and that'll bring up a 3rd and 8.
Good lateral movement there by linebacker Dustin Bomer from Sexsmith. And they had a juggernaut of a team in the Tier 4 provincial ranks this last year. Bomer obviously leading the defense.
They're going for the single here, aren't they, Chad?
They're going to try to win it off a punt single.
Welcome to Canadian football, folks. 3 players in the end zone for Team North. Carter Kettle, the punter, is one of them. They got to get it out of there. Too many players on the field right now for North.
They just got one off.
Just on time. Here comes the punt. Single, wins it.
They got to get it out of the end zone.
North just across the goal line, and we're still alive.
So, and three returners back, because no matter what, you have to get it out of the end zone. So you don't want to let that ball bounce and give the coverage team time to get down there. You know, we even practice scenarios when we're going into postseason. We even practice scenarios where you have to punt the ball back out. And, you know, the boys always have a bit of fun with it and stuff. And a lot of players don't even realize these unique Canadian rules until you actually have to prepare for a game that might come down to that.
So another coin toss here. And what a fitting way to open up the spring.
Oh, it is, right?
Goes to Senior Bowl, 13-13, goes to overtime. We've seen a couple times now potential single points coming into play.
Yeah, we're really seeing the best and the unique qualities of the Canadian game. And we're seeing just an unbelievable array of talent coming out of the high school ranks. So for people that want to follow, you know, their favorite university teams or their junior teams, you know, these are the guys that you're going to be seeing. Maybe not next year taking key roles. A lot of these guys will have to bide their time in reserve roles and special team roles. But, you know, a few years down the road, you know, these are going to be the guys that are making the big plays at the next level. And undoubtedly, some of these guys will be going to a CFL Combine one day. And hopefully we'll see a couple of these guys turn pro in the future, 5-6 years down the road.
So another change at quarterback, Tanwani in, as North has been consistently rotating throughout the game. Empty backfield. Tanwani pulls it down across the 30, so dangerous, picks up 8 or 9.
And that's exactly what Tanwani brings you, is that threat to run the ball. Against most high school teams that he played all year, he's running for first downs. You know, against this group of all-stars assembled in the South, they're making plays 7-8 yards, but still, excellent play on first down.
Hunter Boltzma is in obvious pain right now. Linebacker set up. believe he's in the box right now for Team South, not showing any worse for wear now.
And he's coming on the blitz.
2nd and 2. Tanwani steps back to the end zone, and it'll fall incomplete. And I was almost wondering there if Gabe Heber might have been looking for a flag there. There is a flag on the field, actually, on the near side, right in front of the yardstick at about the 27.
Those linebackers were coming downhill hard. It's going against the North. And again, those linebackers can really influence an offense the way they're coming downhill so hard. And they get an offside call against Team North, which is a huge penalty. So, and this is where we talk about the benefits for going for a pass or something other than just a quarterback sneak on 2nd and inches. Well, now they get an offside call, and it's going to be 2nd and 6.
They'll spot it at the 31. They need the 25. On a 2nd and 6. So they keep the down, lose 5 yards. Tanwani fakes it, has a receiver right. It's Ebert with a bit of room, and great tackling there from Team South. Taking away the angles and bringing him down to the 25.
That's a great bit of open field tackling by the team in red. Such disciplined play from the defensive backs in order to maintain their leverage until the help comes. And again, more inexperienced players probably give up the sideline on that play. But those boys from St. Francis Browns, they know how to play some defense.
So it'll be spotted a yard short. Looks like they need the 25. Tanwani snap was on the ground. Tanwani picks it up, lunges forward, and it looks like he has it. We'll see the spot.
Just added drama to an already intense situation. 3rd and 1, and it's a fumbled snap.
Doesn't seem like there's many easy conversions right now either. It
No.
seems like everything is coming down to 3rd and 1, 3rd and 3. Those short yardage situations, they will motion 1st down for Team North.
Yeah, no points in this game are easy to come by. Nothing. And to me, this is just everything that's good about an all-star game. We're seeing an ultra-competitive game. We're seeing, to a man, every player on the roster wants to get the bragging rights in the Battle of Alberta.
It doesn't feel like a Pro Bowl at all. This feels like a championship game. Tanwani standing on his 30. Hands it off, breaking a couple tackles is Critch. And he can't quite get back to the line of scrimmage. He'll be taken down at the 26.
St. Louis from George McDougall Mustangs out of Airdrie, making a big play down around the line of scrimmage.
St. Louis along with Cole Verweer with the tackle.
57 is limping off as well.
That's Luden.
That's a big loss to have a talented offensive lineman go out.
Tanwani in the offense needs 11 yards. Looks right, finds Hebert, has him. Down at the 16, I believe. And guess what? 3rd and 1.
Here we go again. Here we go again. 3rd and 1.
Actually, they're going to spot that back a little bit more. This is a lot longer. That's closer to 3rd and 2.
3rd and 2.
Yeah, it looks almost like a full 2 yards right here. So likely a little bit too far just to line up in quarterback sneak. So
they're bringing out the field goal
team comes in.
DeMerchant out. It'll be a 23-yard attempt. He made one from this range earlier and had one blocked. An extra point that could have won the game. Snap. Held down, and it's through. DeMerchant comes up with 3 points. Team North up by 3.
It's good this time. They get the blocking up front. They get the field goal. DeMerchant comes through in the clutch. And it looked like there was a little bit of issue with the hold as well. I don't think the laces were out, but nonetheless, a perfect strike through the end zone. 16-13.
So to open up overtime, Team North doesn't score. They come back and keep Team South away from the single. South has a chance to tie it with a field goal or win it with a touchdown.
I don't know if it's getting hotter out here. I'm almost out of water. It was just the excitement, but I'm going to need another bottle of water if this goes any further.
It's one of those days where it's fun to be on the field, and then it's fun to be in the locker room after, and then once you hit the car, you're like, turn up the AC.
Yeah, that's right. Like we said, from snow flurries to sunburns, it's the month of May in Alberta.
Crew Hershey will lead the South offense out. One last time. Looking left, feeling the pressure, and it falls at the 15. He was looking at Nicholas Doyle as he was feeling the pressure, but Doyle couldn't turn his head around in time.
Yeah, and Team North just sending those linebackers. 2 linebackers coming between the tackles on blitzes. Cage Houle out of Stony Plain, who again was just another tackling machine throughout the season. Second in his conference in tackles, coming through with the key quarterback pressure.
Crowd really getting into it here. Hershey looks right, finds Chewy Thomas, tackled at the 29, and one more time. This is it, this is the game.
Good tackle there to have a third and manageable situation here to convert. Chewy Thomas has been go-to all day, but credit to Dustin Jonker there, making that tackle.
Ball is at the 34, it's a full 4 yards.
Game on the line at 3rd and 4. Do you look to Chewy Walker again, or do you try to go elsewhere?
There's so many options out here. Could even run the ball here. Go look right. Pressure, it is off the fingertips. Team North wins the 2022 Senior Bowl.
Look at the passion and the excitement down on field level with these players. Every single one of these guys wants it.
Some of these guys just talked to each other for the first time on Friday.
Yeah, they did, but you know what? Oftentimes, friendships are formed that last decades from experiences like this. And look at the heads, a little dejected and hung down on the South team, but these guys got no reason to hang their heads. They played a heck of a ball game. They need to be proud of themselves. You know, for a few of these boys, last football game they're going to play in, and what a way to go out. Win or lose, what a way to go out.
Congratulations to Team North on winning the 2022 Senior Bowl. Chad, we talked about it a couple times, but really no better way to represent the Canadian game to start off this spring.
I agree, absolutely. This is a way to bring back Canadian football in 2022. And again, just so thankful I could be a part of it up here. What an absolute beautiful day, beautiful venue, and 2 outstanding efforts in a hard-fought game.
Chad Hill and Connor Toffin on the call today on this IC Live Procast of an absolute classic of a Senior Bowl. Team North wins their 14th of all time by a final score of 16-13. Stay tuned for the presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please join us in congratulating both teams on an outstanding performance and a great game. If we could draw your attention to midfield, we will commence with the presentations of the North and South Most Valuable Lineman and Most Valuable Player Awards chosen by the Senior Bowl Selection Committee and the championship trophy to today's winning team. The Most Valuable Lineman Award is named after former Calgary Stampeder lineman Lanny Bolesky, whose high school days were spent blocking for the Red Deer Raiders of the Central Alberta High School League. Presenting these awards for the North and South All-Stars is Mr. Cam Fraser, District Representative for Edmonton for Football Alberta. The winner of the Lanny Bolesky Memorial Most Valuable Lineman of the Game Award for the North All-Stars, number 42 from St. Joseph's High School in Grand Prairie, Caden Eady. The winner of the Lanny Bolesky Memorial Most Valuable Lineman of the Game Award for the South All-Stars is number 64 from Cardston High School, Jacob Blackwater. And now the presentation of the Most Valuable Player Awards for both teams, once again presented by Mr. Cam Fraser, District Rep from Football Alberta. The winner of the Most Valuable Player of the Game Award for Team North is number 7 from St. Joseph's in Grand Prairie, Carter Kittle. The winner of the Most Valuable Player of the Game Award for the South All-Star Team, number 88 from Notre Dame in Calgary, Chewy Thomas. Could we please have the captains of the North All-Star Team please come forward to receive the Football Alberta Senior Bowl Championship trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attendance at the All-Star Game. Have a safe trip home.